Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We will begin shortly.
Oh, we'll wait.
Go up. Go up.
We're going to sit down.
I will make a few announcements, but then... Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, kindly note that the following documents are now available on the summit website. The report of the senior officials of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development and the draft Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development. Copies can be printed upon request. However, we would encourage that you view these documents digitally. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and turn off your phones. We will begin shortly. For your information, the following documents are now available on the summit website. The report of the senior officials of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development and the draft Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development. Printed copies are available upon request. However, we encourage that you view these documents digitally.
Say it one last time. Let's say in all official languages.
Is it done? Oh, ESCAP languages or
ESCAP, all the official languages.
Marco?
Are we waiting for Khaled to finish? He's wrapping up in the citing. Did they
Guys,
finish?
can we get some?
Or can we just...
finish?
They just finished it. Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
We can start.
Make another announcement. We show the video.
Yeah, okay. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats. We will begin. Once again, for your information, the following documents are now available on the summit website in all official ESCAP languages. The report of the senior officials of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development, and the draft Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development. Printed copies are available upon request. However, we encourage that you view these documents digitally. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we will start this afternoon's segment with a short video based on the background document prepared for the Ministerial Summit, which is available on the Summit website. Thank you for your attention.
When world leaders adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, they recognized that social and economic development depends on the sustainable management of our planet's natural resources. They also identified resource efficiency as a prominent means to ensure the sustainable management of natural resources. What is resource efficiency about? Resource efficiency refers to the ability to create more goods and services, more wealth and human well-being with less input of natural resources. How does our region, the Asia-Pacific, fare in terms of resource use and efficiency? The region accounts for more than 50% of global material resource consumption, but produces only about 32% of world economic output, making it one of the most resource-intensive regions in the world. It takes approximately double the quantity of material resources as input to produce each dollar of GDP in the region when compared to the rest of the world. Hence, there is a huge opportunity to improve resource efficiency in the region. But why do we need to improve resource efficiency in Asia-Pacific? ESCAP's analytical work shows that there is a strong relationship between resource efficiency gains and progress made in Human Development Index, access to water and electricity within the region. Without significant improvements in resource efficiency, achieving global climate targets envisaged by the Paris Agreement will be difficult and substantially more costly. So how do we achieve improved resource efficiency? We need macro-level and sectoral policy interventions. Macro-level policy pathways involve integrating resource efficiency targets within national development agendas and creating an enabling regulatory and fiscal environment to incentivize resource-efficient economic development. Taxation and fiscal measures such as fossil fuel subsidy reforms in combination with innovative financing mechanisms such as green bonds can accelerate transition to resource efficiency. Countries also need to evaluate resource efficiency implications of trade portfolios and position in global value chains. At the sector level, resource efficiency targets need to be mainstreamed. Scientific, technological, and innovation capacities need to be channeled towards resource efficiency. Effective waste management practices and promoting lifestyle changes will allow recovery of valuable resources. These measures need to be paired with strengthened statistical capacities to accurately account resource usage and their impacts. We can achieve more with collaboration. ESCAP can play a key role to increase the capacity of governments, conduct policy-relevant research, provide platforms for mutual learning, and promote regional collaboration in improving resource efficiency. Let us work together to make the Asia-Pacific region a torchbearer of resource efficiency.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Before I begin, I wish to convey sincere sympathies to the people of the Caribbean who have been hit by the most powerful Atlantic hurricane in recorded history, Hurricane Irma. Irma is now continuing on a destructive path towards Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Miami, Florida. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the people living in those areas, especially those who have lost loved ones already, 66 on the island of Baraboo. This is yet another glaring example of why our work here this week, today, tomorrow, and into the future is so very, very important. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is now called to order. We are now resuming with the consideration of Agenda Item 14, matters pertaining to the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. We will start our discussion with the Agenda Item 14A, Policy Perspectives on the Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific. The document pertinent to this agenda item is, as indicated in the annotated agenda, Sustainable Management on Natural Resources in Asia and the Pacific, Trends, Challenges, and Opportunities in Resource Efficiency and Policy Perspectives, E/ESCAP/MSED 7/2. In this session, all ministers and heads of delegations are invited to deliver their formal country policy statements outlining their outlook on emerging and persistent challenges to sustainable development from the environmental perspective. Without further ado, I will now open the floor. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will first open the floor to statements from member and associate member governments. Once all country statements have been made, I will invite statements from intergovernmental bodies, after which I will open the floor to the representative of UN bodies and specialized agencies, and finally to designated representatives of civil society, major groups, and other stakeholders. To begin, I would like to open the floor to statements and views from governments. I wish to remind distinguished delegates that the time limit is just 3 minutes per statement, and also that our translators will only be here until 5 p.m. this afternoon. So to be fair to all delegates, please try to remain within the 3-minute allocation. Once again, each statement is limited to 3 minutes. Also, we would ask that all statements be delivered from your seat in the interest of saving precious time. I now recognize the distinguished delegate from Singapore. Singapore, you have the floor.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, distinguished delegates, protecting the environment and the health of its people is a central element to attainment of sustainable development. Statistics have shown that proper control of pollutant tends to correlate with economic growth, especially for many developing countries. Singapore thus takes pollution issues seriously. As a small island city-state of only 720 square kilometers and with no natural resources, the challenges of pollution are more acute for Singapore. Even as Singapore developed and made steady economic progress over the past 52 years since our independence, we've continued to place emphasis on sustainable development. As part of our efforts to sustain this, we've come up with the Sustainable Singapore Blueprint 2015, which sets out our national vision and plans on sustainable development until 2030. The Sustainable Singapore Blueprint is a living document that undergoes regular review to maintain its relevance. In the interest of time, I'll focus on policies related to waste and water management, which are integral to the theme of a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. Waste management. To address waste upstream, Singapore works towards inculcating the 3R approach. We have launched the National Recycling Program since 2001 to raise public awareness about recycling and to encourage individuals to recycle more. We also enforce strict anti-littering laws to keep the country clean. To address waste downstream, we have an integrated waste management system to minimize waste at source and ensure proper waste recycling and disposal. all incinerable waste, including plastics that are not recycled, are disposed of at modern waste-to-energy incineration plants equipped with advanced air pollution control systems. Non-incinerable waste and ash from the incinerable process are disposed of at leachate-free offshore landfills. Through these concerted efforts, the overall cycling rate in Singapore has increased. We have also set a target to achieve 65% overall waste recycling by 2020 and 70% by 2030 to help meet our goal of moving towards a zero-waste nation. Turning to water, being a small island state with an increasing demand for water, Singapore makes every drop of water count. We achieve this by adopting 3 key strategies. 1, collect every drop. 2, reuse water endlessly. And 3, desalinate seawater. Singapore works closely with the private sector to lower water consumption. This includes launching the Water Efficient Building Certification Program in 2004 and incentivizing water efficiency using the Water Efficiency Fund scheme that started in 2007. This is especially important as the non-domestic use is expected to increase from 55% of water demand today to 70% by 2060. We also have in place measures to ensure households and industries use water efficiently by getting them to adopt water-efficient fittings and appliances that can help conserve water. The recently introduced mandatory water efficiency labeling scheme helps consumers choose their products such as taps, flushing systems, urinals, washing machines, and other appliances wisely. Given that reclaimed water and desalinated water are part of our sources of water, we implement stringent and comprehensive policies to control and manage wastewater. Singapore's sewage system covers the entire country. All trade effluent discharged to the sewer must comply with trade effluent regulations to ensure that it's suitable for water reclamation and subsequent processing into Singapore's brand of reclaimed water called New Water. Surplus used water not recycled into new water is collected and treated to internationally recognized standards before discharge. Singapore also does regular water quality monitoring of our water bodies to ensure that they meet international water quality standards. Singapore does its part in reducing its resource and pollution footprints. However, localized pollution control efforts alone are not enough in achieving a pollution-free planet because pollution crosses borders through carriers such as air and water. Therefore, it's important for countries to adopt holistic strategies, including cooperating to address transboundary pollution. Every country must also do its part in the collective effort in minimizing pollution from source. In addition, multilateral and regional bodies such as UN Environment and UN ESCAP play an important role in facilitating effective implementation through capacity building. As a responsible international citizen, Singapore also shares our experience on sustainable development. Under the Singapore Cooperation Programme, we have since shared our know-how on waste and water management and broader sustainability and environmental issues. To date, more than 100,000 officials from fellow developing countries have undergone such training. In conclusion, Singapore stands ready to contribute to the discussions here as well as the vision of a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific region. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished delegate from Singapore. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Myanmar.
Thank you, Madam. So, Environmental Conservation Department of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation is developing National Waste Management Strategy and Action Plans for Myanmar with the technical assistance of Institute of the Global Environmental Strategy, IGES, Center collaborating with UN Environment on Environmental Technology, CCET. Sustainable green, clean and healthy environment towards a brighter future for Myanmar was identified as a common declaration for the National Waste Management Strategy and Action Plan for Myanmar. Existing waste collection of the cities consists of primary collection, secondary collection, and final disposal. Primary waste collection methods include door-to-door collections, curbside bin container collections, and open or communal waste collection points. Public awareness raising campaigns and environmental education programs for local residents to mobilize supports for waste reduction or reuse activities. Waste-to-energy project has been piloted in Yangon for commercial city of Myanmar, municipality by the support of Japanese government for electricity generation in order to realize resource efficiency in Myanmar. In the forestry sectors, forest law enforcement and governance in trade, FLEGT, flag T, is an outstanding instance for practicing resource efficiency in order to conserve forests in an environmentally and economically sustainable manner. Timber production was banned for 1 year during of 2016 and 2017 fiscal year throughout the country, and for 10-year duration for Pagoyuma, Homotic in the central part of Myanmar. Infrastructure, human resources, technical requirements for cleaner technological processes, appropriate sectoral laws for effective enforcement, comprehensive monitoring system, surveys and studies for database system are the essential requirements to implement in the near future in order to conserve and protect the environment against the pollution problems. As for the visions in the National Environmental Policy Framework, Myanmar will be, by 2030, actively protecting and managing the environment in ways that maintain biodiversity, support inclusive social and economic progress, respect human rights, and enhance quality of life for all people now and in future generations. Myanmar will have prioritized low carbon and green economic development, and that will help ensure healthy and functioning ecosystems and living environments for all people. In order to promote green investments, the Green Economic Policy Framework is currently being drafted to ensure greener investments, less impact from brown investments to support sustainable economic development. It will help Myanmar to guarantee environmental sustainability, resource efficiency, healthy ecosystem and environment, promoting institutional and management mechanisms for environmental quality management, developing the national environmental quality standards for environmental compliance, formulating the regulations, strategies, master plan and action plans for strong environmental governance, enhancing the public awareness to promote the community engagement, and assessing the requirements for pollution control measures are the current efforts for the better environment of Myanmar. At the same time, we have been developing Myanmar climate change strategy and action plan in order to build climate resilience and low carbon pathways toward inclusive sustainable development. Investment in climate resilience and low carbon development pathway and adoption of environmentally sound technologies at an early stage can provide sustainable and resource efficient opportunities for socio-economic development. As a good example in Myanmar is Smart Myanmar project supported by European Union under the Switch Asia program, which actively promotes and supports the sustainable production of garment strivings to increase the international competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprise SMEs in these sectors. Expected results include reduction in waste generation, energy consumption, and water consumption. In conclusion, I am convinced that Myanmar is on the way toward its brilliant future in terms of resource efficiency and pollution reduction in the light of sound environmental governance in collaboration with all walks of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Myanmar. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Bhutan.
Madam Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. The Bhutanese delegation expressed our deepest appreciation to UN ESCAP and the UN Environment for bringing together for the first time the two United Nations minister-level meeting on environment under the theme towards a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. Through this unified forum, Asia-Pacific region and the UN has exemplified how results could be achieved through harmonized efforts and in reduction in costs. In September 2015, the UN member states pledged to achieve 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and recognize the dignity of every individual by committing to leave no one behind. If we are to achieve these goals, sustainable and efficient use of natural resources and the reduction of waste are very essential. Bhutan, guided by the philosophy of cross-national happiness, sustainable development has always been the cornerstone of our development and the public policy. Since the adoption of Sustainable Development Goal in 2015, the Royal Government of Bhutan has been working on mainstreaming the SDGs into the 5-year planning cycle as a mechanism to implement the SDGs. The objectives of the 12th 5-year plan of Bhutan, which will start implementing from July 2018, is to ensure just, harmonious, and sustainable society through enhanced decentralization. This means ensuring that every individual lives in harmony with nature and community to sustain its social, economic, and environmental needs with equal access and opportunity to realize the individual and national aspirations. 16 national key result areas of the plan are identified and will be implemented to support the universally agreed Sustainable Development Goals. In 2010, Asia-Pacific Community adopted the Astana Green Bridge Initiative and Green Growth Strategy. These are still relevant in the context of SDG, and much regional initiatives needs continued commitment and support from all the stakeholders at local, national, regional, and global level. It is good to note the Secretariat's report on the numerous undertakings carried out throughout the region in the 6 priority programs, areas of the 6th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development. In Bhutan, several initiatives are underway to accelerate the sustainable development approaches, improving resource efficiency and pollution control. The economic development policy of the Royal Government of Bhutan aims for sustainable economic development by promoting clean and green sector as an accelerator for the economic growth. Sectors such as sustainable tourism, agro and forest-based industries, clean renewable energy, and high-quality green services are encouraged for investment and for economic activities. The initiative of Royal Government of Bhutan, such as the Green Public Procurement, Paperless Office, introduction of sustainable consumption and production, inclusion in the curriculum of Vocational Training Institute and non-formal education, introduction of green public transport, institutionalizing Green and Clean Bhutan program, promotion of organic farming are some of the sustainable measures taken. Further, the Royal Government of Bhutan has committed to remain carbon neutral at all times in Paris to achieve the goal of sustainable development. This commitment was made to encourage other nations to make similar commitment for a better world. As a small, landlocked, mountainous, and developing nation, the implementation of sustainable development goals are constrained by limited technical capacity and financial resources. Therefore, as highlighted under the SDG 17, there is a greater need to expedite strengthening means of implementation and mobilization resources to support in achieving the goals of Agenda 2030. We acknowledge there is a lot need to be done to establish baseline data requirement for the SDGs. This, however, could not be achieved due to lack of the financial and technical capacities. Bhutan recognizes the adverse impact of various wastes on fragile ecology of the country and on the human health. The legislation to prevent and manage waste are in place, but actual implementation is far behind the expectation. Similar to many developing nations, managing waste poses a greatest challenge, and Bhutan has not been able to tap the model of waste to resource initiative. Lastly, my delegation recognizes the pivotal role of UN ESCAP and the UN Environment in translating the 2030 Agenda to tangible outcomes at local level, in connecting the resources from the global community to local action through innovation and technology, and building the technical capacities of those who are behind. Let me also express my delegation's appreciation to the support provided by UN ESCAP and UN Environment for our participation and for the excellent hospitality of the Royal Thai government. Thank you, and Tashidalek.
Thank you very much, Bhutan. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Nepal.
Madam President, Chair, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Government of Nepal and my delegation, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to UN Environment Program and UN ESCAP for the continued cooperation and support to Nepal. I would like to extend our thanks with appreciation for organizing the first Asia Pacific Ministerial Summit and the warm hospitality. We are here in a historic moment to discuss on the need for more strength and collaborative efforts from all nations to ensure resource efficient and pollution-free Asia and the Pacific region. The theme is very relevant and timely to be more active for conserving environment, biodiversity, and ecosystem services for our common future in this regard. In building policies and their effective implementation is the responsibility of all member governments. To achieve this mission, we have to establish, expand, and strengthen function collaboration among all stakeholders by strengthening communication channels. I would like to reassure here that the government of Nepal is fully committed towards protection of environment and enhancing resource efficiency while developing and effectively enforcing policies, legislation, action plan, and programs in line with the national commitment in international forum. It is my pleasure to share that Nepal is reviews policies, institutional frameworks as it is transforming to a federal state also have been giving high priority for achieving sustainable development to a federal state also have been giving high priority for achieving sustainable development goals by 2030. In this regard, we are UN Environment and Development partners to focus efforts in building national series of list develop and developing member states. Why I would like to share that Nepal is establishing and operating air quality monitoring station and reviewing emission status to regulate air quality. Similarly, we are developing hazardous substance management regulation, national pollution control strategy and action plan, national policy on sustainable consumption and production for pollution control and resource efficiency. Chair, Nepal, a diverse country not having mentioned but the contribution in global emission is highly vulnerable to climate change affected. So government of Nepal would like to draw attention of the developed member states for further supports to vulnerable countries to combat climate change. Finally, the government of Nepal expressed its firm belief that meaningful full support and cooperation from all governments, development partners, UN agencies, and international institutions will be continued to Nepal. Chair, my government and delegation extend its full support to develop a common agenda to be presented in UNEA3 in Kenya. I wish for grand access of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Nepal. I now invite the distinguished delegate from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
의장 선생, 나는 먼저 당신이 환경에 관한 상급회의 의장으로 선거된 것을 축하하면서 당신이 능숙한 사의 밑에 이번 회의가 성과적으로 진행되리라는 기대를 표명합니다. 아울러 이번 회의의 성과적 보장을 위하여 성의있는 노력을 기울인 유엔 아시아 태평양 경제사회위원회 집행서기 선생과 유엔 환경계획 집행국장 선생을 비롯한 소개국 일꾼들에게 사의를 표합니다. 환경과 개발에 관한 아시아 태평양 지역 제7차 상급회의와 유엔 환경계획 제2차 아태지역 상및 환경기관 연단을 함께 진행하는 이번 첫 아세아 태평양 지역 상급 회의는 지속개발과 환경보호를 밀접히 연관시켜 나갈 때 대한 현실 발전의 요구를 반영한 것으로서 유엔 체계 내 기구들이 호상 협조와 조정에서 본받을 만한 신뢰로 된다고 보면서 회의가 자원이 지속적 관리를 위한 통일적인 전략을 토의하는 좋은 계기로 되리라고 믿습니다. 의장 선생, 조선민주주의인민공화국 정부는 인민대중 중심의 사회주의 제도의 본성적 요구에 맞게 근로인민 대중이 자주적이며 창조적인 생활을 마음껏 누릴 수 있는 사회적 환경과 함께 자연 환경을 마련해 주기 위한 환경보호 사업에 오래전부터 깊은 관심을 돌려왔습니다. 지금 우리는 나라의 경제발전과 인민생활 향상을 위한 국가 경제발전 5개년 전략을 수행하고 있습니다. 전략 수행 기간 환경보호 부문에서는 모든 공장 기업소들과 도시 군들에서 산업 폐수 및 생활 오소와 먼지, 가스 배출 농도를 국가 환경보호 기준에 도달하게 하며 중요 환경 경제 지표값들을 세계적인 추세에 맞게 개선하는 것을 목표로 내세우고 있습니다. 이를 위하여 5개년 전략에 상응하게 국가 환경보호 전략을 2018년까지 새로 작성하게 되며 전략에는 나라의 환경 상태와 2019-2022년 기간에 도달해야 할 환경 목표와 우선권, 그 수행 방도들을 제시하게 됩니다. 이와 함께 공화국 정부는 2016년에 국가 환경보호 기준을 올해에는 바다오염 방지법을 갱신한 것을 비롯하여 환경보호 분야의 법 규정을 발전하는 세계적 환경 추세와 경제발전의 요구에 맞게 부단히 수정 보충하고 있습니다. 산이 국토의 거의 80%를 차지하는 우리나라에서 산림을 적극 보호하고 조성하는 것은 환경보호 사업에서 중요한 의의를 가집니다. 공화국 정부는 올해 김일성 종합대학의 산림대학을 새로 내옴으로써 이 분야의 전문가, 기술자들을 체계적으로 양성하고 환경보호 사업을 현대 과학과 기술의 토대 위에서 발전시킬 수 있는 전망을 마련하였습니다. 우리 당과 인민의 최고領導자 김정은 동지께서는 산림복구 전투를 직접 발기하시고 몸소 사령관이 되시어 온 나라를 수리마 원리마하기 위한 사업을 현명하게 용도하고 계십니다. 2015-2044년 국가 산림건설 전략에 따라 2024년까지 1단계 과업을 수행하게 되면 나라의 전체 산림 면적을 조림 및 재조림하게 됩니다. 오늘 우리가 향유하는 경제발전의 혜택과 복리는 에너지를 떠나서 생각할 수 없으며 인류의 지속적인 사회, 경제, 생활 환경을 보장하자면 에너지 이용이 환경에 미치는 부정적 영향을 극복하지 않으면 안 된다는 것이 우리 모두가 깨닫고 있는 도전이며 기회입니다. 공화국 정부는 수력과 풍력, 태양열 등 재생 가능한 비연소 동력 이용을 중요 구성 요소로 하는 국가 에너지 전략을 작성하고 환경 보호와 지속 개발 문제를 유기적으로 결합시켜 나가고 있습니다. 이와 함께 나라의 경제를 자원 전략형 경제, 순환 경제, 녹색 경제, 생태 경제로 전환하기 위한 사업을 추진하고 있습니다. 의장 선생, 유엔 지속개발대회 정신에 부합되게 녹색 경제 발전이 초석을 다지는 방향에서 지구 환경 보호를 위한 국제적 목표들을 달성하자면 다음의 문제들에 주목을 돌려야 한다고 간주합니다. 우선 모든 나라들이 환경 보호와 관련한 국제적 협약들을 존중하고 그 이행을 위한 실천적 조치들을 시급히 취해 나가야 할 것입니다. 환경보호 사업은 어느 한 나라, 어느 한 민족에 국한된 문제가 아니며 지구를 오염 없는 행성으로 만들기 위해서는 행동의 일치성을 보장해야 합니다. 이런 견지에서 미국이 자기만의 이익과 극단한 경제적 타산을 앞세우면서 전 세계가 토의에 합의한 중요한 협약에서 탈퇴하기로 결정한 것은 참으로 유감스러운 일이 아닐 수 없습니다. 지구적인 오염을 대책하고 감수하는 데서 발전된 경제와 기술을 가지고 있는 나라들이 응당한 책임을 지니고 중요한 역할을 해야 한다는 것은 현실적인 요구인 동시에 초미 문제로 나서고 있습니다. 조선민주주의인민공화국 정부는 환경보호를 위한 3대 협약들과 오존층 보호를 위한 몬트리올 우정서 등 환경 분야의 주요 국제협약들에 가입하였으며 그에 따르는 민족행동계획들을 작성하고 리행하는 등 당사국으로서의 의무를 성실히 리행하고 있습니다. 다음으로 환경보호사업과 이를 위한 국제적 협력에 모든 나라들이 빠짐없이 참가할 수 있는 환경과 조건을 보장하는 데 관심을 돌려야 합니다. 미국의 강권과 전액이 산물인 제재 교리들은 지금 우리 인민의 생존권과 발전권을 엄중히 침해할 뿐 아니라 환경 분야의 국제적 협조에도 부정적인 영향을 미치고 있습니다. 우리나라에서 유엔 환경계획과 유엔 공업개발기구의 협조로 진행되고 있는 1단계 2015-2018 연물화 탄화수소 철폐 대상 계획에 필요한 물자와 설비들이 아직까지도 납입되지 못하고 있는 것이 그 대표적인 실례입니다. 환경보호 사업과 이 분야에서의 국제적 협조는 전 지구적인 사업으로서 개별적 나라들이 이해관계에 따라 좌우되는 정치 시행물이 되지 말아야 한다는 것이 우리 입장입니다. 이로부터 나는 유엔 아시아 태평양 경제사회위원회와 유엔 환경계획이 조선민주주의인민공화국에 대한 제재가 환경 분야의 국제적 협조에 영향을 주지 않도록 필요한 조치를 취하는 데 응당한 관심을 돌려야 한다고 간주합니다. 의장 선생, 나는 유엔 아시아 태평양 경제사회위원회와 유엔 환경계획이 지속개발 목표에 부합되는 녹색경제 장성과 오염없는 행성을 위한 지역적인 협조를 조정하고 협조가 모든 성원국들에 공정하게 차별 없이 제공되도록 하는 데서 자기 책임과 역할을 다하리라고 기대합니다. 조선민주주의인민공화국 정부는 앞으로도 지구적인 환경 보호를 위한 국제적 의무에 충실할 것이며 지역 및 국제적인 노력에도 적극 합류해 나갈 것입니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you, DPR of Korea. Just a small reminder, delegates, that we must try to keep to the 3-minute time limit. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Vietnam to take the floor.
Excellency, Madam Chair, Excellency Minister, Head of Delegation, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me, on behalf of the Government of Vietnam, to attend the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Summit on Environment, which brings together for the first time two United Nations ministerial level meetings on the environment. I would therefore like to sincerely thank the ESCAP and UN Environment for inviting me to this important event. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Asia-Pacific is home to more than half of the world's population and is the fastest growing economic region in the world. But this growth had come at a price. Rapid urbanization, increased demand for the resources and services, and exerting increasing pressure on land and natural resources, and challenging sustainable development. This challenge, if not tackled properly in timely, could drive human beings to more serious crises and even conflicts. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in Asia-Pacific region, Vietnam is among the most rapidly developing economies, but the country is also among the most vulnerable to the impacts of the climate change, such as the drought, sea level rise, and saltwater intrusion. In responding to this challenge, and in order to transform our economic model into the more sustainable, the Vietnam had developed the strategy on the environment protection, the strategy and national action plan on green growth. The national action plan to implement the SDGs, the strategy and national action plan on climate change, and the strategy for the renewable energy development in Vietnam towards 2030 with a vision 2050. Accordingly, Vietnam is strongly promoting sustainable socio-economic development in the cloud connection with environmental protection, with a resolution not to harm the environment in the exchange for the short-term profit. Environment protection must be taken into the consideration during the whole development process. At the national level, Vietnam is stepping up its economic restructuring and the institutional rearrangement, facilitating green economic sectors, efficient use of energy and resources, and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Our aim is to raise people's living standards, promote an environmentally friendly lifestyle, and improve competitiveness of the economy through investing in measures such as technological innovation, natural capital, and economic instruments. At the international level, Vietnam has added mitigation target in its NDC to contribute to the implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Asia-Pacific is a home to countries with various conditions and levels of development. But all countries in the region can together achieve regional sustainable development by embracing the economic model of low carbon emissions and green growth, rather than relying heavily on exploiting natural resources and low-cost labor. It is our view that by constructively working together, we can address common challenges of regional and global dimensions like cross-border water resources management, marine litters, single-use plastics. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, with that confidence, I am looking forward to our concrete efforts to achieve environmentally sustainable economic development of the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vietnam. I now call on the distinguished delegate from Republic of Vanuatu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, allow me to convey to you warm greetings from the Prime Minister, Government and people of Vanuatu. It is a pleasure to join other esteemed delegations and participants for this first summit. I take this opportunity to thank the Kingdom of Thailand for the excellent hospitality and the co-organizers, ESCAP and the UN Environment for bringing us together to collectively discuss these important issues. Madam Chair, 2017 has been a milestone year for the Republic of Vanuatu in formalizing our strategic policy approaches to sustainable development. In January this year, the Honourable Prime Minister, Salo Salwaita Bimasmas, presented Vanuatu 2030, the People's Plan as a national sustainable development plan for the next 15 years. This vital document was informed by the priorities voiced by our people, the community, and elected representatives, the private sector, and the civil society. Consultation occurred over the course of 3 years and was undertaken across the whole country. Our united voices articulate what we want for ourselves, our children, future generations, and our country. Vanuatu 2030 charts the country's vision and overarching policy framework for achieving the stable, sustainable, and prosperous Vanuatu. In doing so, it sets out the national priorities and context for the implementation of global sustainable development goals, Samoa pathway, and also regional Pacific plans, strategies, and roadmap. One of the major highlights of Vanuatu 2030 is the recognition of the environment as a key aspect of the sustainable development. This is the first time the environment is a national priority within the National Development Plan, making Vanuatu 2030 our first National Sustainable Development Plan. Building on this recognition, in March I had the pleasure of launching the first overarching Vanuatu National Environment Policy and Implementation Plan 2016-2030 with the coordinated visions for sustainable management of our natural resources and protection of our biodiversity. I thank SPRAPE and the UN Environment for their technical support and advice during the formulation and consultation process. Madam Chair, the Environment Policy and Implementation Plan has 24 policy objectives and brings together diverse issues like the conservation of biodiversity, sustainable resource management, waste pollution control, climate change, environmental governance and capacity development, sustainable growth and development, and financing and economic instruments. It integrates all our MEA plans and is the environment pillar of our National Sustainable Development Plan. Climate change is a primary sustainable development issue for Vanuatu, as it is for many other of Asia-Pacific countries. My ministry is the lead ministry for the climate change, and we have set up a multi-sector national advisory board that has private sector and NGO representatives, as its role is to coordinate all adaptation and mitigation activities and projects. This way, we ensure that all projects that are done with partners or through the GCF and adaptation funds are in line with our National Sustainable Development Plan and environment plans. We discuss with the UN Environment, the National GCF project, and through the technical support of the Government of Korea, an ecosystem-based adaptation is best developed and is one of the first projects to go through the National Advisory Board. As Vanuatu continues to grow and development increases, so too does the pressure of waste and pollution. We are now drowning under a mountain of waste that also unfortunately ended up in the ocean. We had improved our waste management system through Japanese assistance, but unfortunately, Cyclone Bam hit us in 2015, and the sheer volume of disaster waste undid all these improvements. Cyclone Bam was the strongest cyclone to hit the Pacific until Cyclone Winston destroyed part of Fiji in 2016. Such events highlight the interconnectedness of this environment and development priorities. Climate change, waste management, oceans, biodiversity, and so on. It is good that we continue to strengthen such forums and summits where we come to discuss this all together. What is left now is to agree and then do the work of making it all happen on the ground in our countries and communities. I thank you all and thank you too much.
Thank you, Tumas Vanuatu. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from the Solomon Islands.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Your Excellencies. It is indeed an honor for me, on behalf of the Government of Solomon Islands and my delegation, to address the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Summit on the environment this afternoon, under the theme towards a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. My delegation at the outset would like to take this opportunity and wish to commend your leadership through your election to the Chair. Congratulations. Chair, sustainable utilization and conservation of natural resources, protection of the environment, and combating the adverse effects of climate change is one of the underpinning policy objectives of my government. The National Development Strategy 2016 to 2035 further makes this a key priority area for the government, with emphasis on a resilient and environmentally sustainable development with effective disaster risk management, response and recovery. This not only shows a keen sense of awareness by Solomon Islands government of important global environmental dialogues, but it is a gesture of commitment by the government to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement, among others. Environmentally sustainability, as illustrated by sustainable natural resources, consumption, and strong, resilient ecosystems, is crucial to building resilient socio-economic systems. There is always, however, imbalanced biases in favor of the socio-economic systems between countries and regions because of their circumstances. As a small island country which heavily depends on its natural resources and the primary extractive industries in mining, forestry, agriculture, and fisheries, my country is under immense pressure to ensure its limited natural resources are sustainably managed in a way and at a rate that promotes the resilience of the ecosystems providing those resources. Faced with these multiple challenges, including pressures from population growth and climate change, there is already a policy shift in terms of the policy-making processes. Unlike past practices whereby sectoral policies are inward-looking and rigidly defined along responsibility lines, this is no longer the case, with the environment being slowly but steadily pushed to the core of policy making, whether by design or otherwise. The rationale is to create a policy platform amenable to balancing the conflicting goals of economic and social development and environment protection. Madam Chair, several important legislative and policy undertakings of direct relevance to sustainable resource management have started in earnest in the country. This included the review of the Environment Act, Wildlife Protection and Management Act, Forest and Timber Utilization Act, Mines and Minerals Policy, National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, and the National Waste Management Strategies. A climate change policy has also been developed, apart from the National Adaptation Plan of Actions. The country's State of the Environment report is being reviewed, which, if successfully completed, will hopefully give guidance to the development of key economic sectoral policies and strategies for an integrated approach to environment management. Ensuring policy coherence across the relevant sectors is integral to a resource-efficient economy and resilient ecosystems. I therefore wish to acknowledge the support accorded to my country in these endeavors. Madam Chair, Solomon Islands nonetheless is faced with the challenges of monitoring and enforcement of these policies. Capacity building and training in this area is critical in order to make these policies more meaningful and effective. A strengthened partnership through engagement with regional and UN bodies, such as the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Programme and UN Environment and others, is important to achieve these policy objectives. My government looks forward to this engagement to be able to know the existing data on the health status of Solomon Islands' natural resources and how it is how its management can be strengthened. This will be a good opportunity for the Solomon government to align itself to regional frameworks, multilateral agreements, and sustainable development goals, targets, and indicators. I thank you, Chair.
Vinaka, Solomon Islands. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Armenia to take the floor.
Mr. Chair, Your Excellencies, honorable delegates, first of all, I would like to thank Secretariat and authorities of Kingdom of Thailand for the smooth organization and for hosting the Ministerial Summit on Environment. Republic of Armenia highly values its cooperation with and with the United Nations, and we recognize this summit as an important format for addressing the issues of the environmental sustainability, social justice, and economic efficiency. Dear colleagues, Armenia welcomes the ministerial declaration that we are going to adopt. We particularly welcome the call for promotion of the regional dialogue on environmental issues. We also strongly believe that environmental issues should be addressed together with economic and social issues. We are confident that poverty is one of the main causes that leads to environmental problems, therefore should be considered during large environmental or economic projects. It's important that in national, economic, social, and environmental policies will be integrated. People with limited financial opportunities cannot use modern energy efficiency technologies and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. 24% of the total greenhouse gas emissions in Armenia are from the energy consumption in the buildings. Honorable delegates, just a few days ago we started a new project funded by Green Climate Fund and implemented by UN, and this project will help low-income families reduce their energy costs, energy use, and therefore CO2 emissions. This project is 10th signed by the GCF globally and the first one in the Eurasian region, and targets not only environmental but also social and economic issues. We find that nature for foreign debt swap mechanism should play important role for generating additional financial resources for developing countries. We believe that proper environmental policy and governmental regulations may play a significant role for reduction of environmental impacts and protection of nature. Previously, environmental activities and programs were considered as an extra cost for government, business, and society. Today, we can state that so-called environmental costs are the best investment not only from environmental but also from economic and social perspectives. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Armenia. I now invite the distinguished delegate from the Republic of Korea to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, let me first thank the government of Thailand for their warm hospitality and ESCAP and UNEP for co-hosting this important conference. It is my pleasure to deliver this statement on sustainable management of natural resources in the Republic of Korea. Since the adoption of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development at the historic UN Summit in 2015, the governments have been moving fast towards the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. 2 years have passed since then, and now we are here to discuss challenges and opportunities in resource efficiency. Excellencies, as we are aware, Asia-Pacific region has a low resource efficiency compared to other developed regions. Certainly, this is a challenge for us. This challenge, however, could turn into a huge opportunity if we could prove our potential by promoting environmental technical breakthroughs and business innovations. I believe our region has such a strong potential that will lead us to the goal of a higher resource efficiency. To achieve this same goal, the government of the Republic of Korea has been working hard by using a variety of environmental policies and instruments. Not only have these policies improved resource efficiency, but also created new job and market opportunities. Today, I would like to share with you some of those policies we have in the Republic of Korea. Excellencies, it has been almost 4 months since the new administration took office in the country. The new administration's policy goal is to turn Korea into a sustainable nation, enhancing people's quality of life. To reach this goal, the government has a plan to re-establish the Commission on Sustainable Development as a coordinator for different government ministries. To reach out even further, we are promoting sustainable development at community level. There are a number of sustainable development committees being operated at the local level as recommended by the Local Agenda 21. Public and private actors, including governments, businesses, non-governmental organizations, and experts, participate in this committee. Such governance structure makes it possible for diverse stakeholders to engage in the entire process of establishing and implementing resource policies contributing to sustainable development. Excellencies, indeed, this strong governance structure should be supported by effective systems and legal framework. The Korean government has enacted the Framework Act on Resource Circulation for the transition into a resource circular economy. In this resource circular economy, we aim for energy and resources stay in the production cycle of the economy as long as possible. I believe this is achieved by minimizing landfill and maximizing recycling. We also have another good example of developing new technologies and new markets from resource circulation. We have used the so-called unpleasant facilities such as landfills and incinerators to turn them into eco-friendly energy facilities and eco-parks. Energy and environment, these two challenges were overcome at once with this project. The project also had added values such as increased income and more jobs. Excellencies, for the purpose of a stronger Asia-Pacific regional cooperation, Korea has been working together with the ESCAP for Seoul Initiative since 2005. Under this initiative, the Ministry of Environment of Korea has taken a role of supplying sustainable development strategies, especially resource efficiency policies to the region. For the past 12 years, as we have operated the Seoul Initiative, resource efficiency has been high on the agenda. We had 12 policy forums, 4 of which were on efficient use of resources. Among the 28 pilot projects in total, 12 projects were carried out in 9 countries to improve their resource efficiency. I hope the regional cooperation built through this initiative has contributed to an enhanced management of resources. Excellencies, I would like to reaffirm that the Republic of Korea will continue to make effort to rise to the challenge of environment and energy by promoting technology development and creating new markets. Finally, I hope we could have more opportunities to engage a wider group of stakeholders and discuss not only environmental issues, but also environmental welfare in a greater scope. I look forward to listening to your insightful ideas during the summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Republic of Korea. I now invite the distinguished delegate from Sri Lanka to take the floor.
Chairperson, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. While congratulating our confident that your skilled chairperson will ensure fruitful discussion and a successful outcome of this ministerial meeting. I also wish to thank UNEP, ESCAP, and Thai government for the hospitality extended to my delegation and the meticulous arrangement made to facilitate discussions on this important subject of environment, which is central in our daily lives. Chairperson, this ministerial summit on environment is a good opportunity to discuss the way forward on environmental issues under the theme of our deliberations towards a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific region, as well as the environmental dimensions of sustainable development and related issues on national and regional levels. Environmental degradation in our planet today has achieved far-reaching proportions, causing extensive concern, threatening human livelihood, health, food security, to indicate few. Chairperson, I take this opportunity to present some of the landmark achievements made by Sri Lanka during the past several years. Sri Lanka, being party to the Paris Agreement, has made its nationally determined contribution to strengthen the global effort for both mitigation and adaptation measures. A national climate change adaptation plan for 2015 to 2024 has been developed in line with the guidelines set forth by the UNFCCC. This plan is a major step forward in achieving the national objectives by minimizing the impact of climate change on human life and ecosystem. Also, I should mention that we have done a national biodiversity strategic action plan. An international conference on Sri Lanka Next, a blue-green era, an exhibition which was organized last year to explore low-carbon development pathways for economic development and move forward in an eco-friendly lifestyle, will be held annually. Under this initiative, a number of programs, including 10,000 climate-resilient blue-green villages and climate-smart cities, would commence throughout the island. Chairperson, Sri Lanka also pursues a path to avoid chemical fertilizer and reduce excessive use of agrochemicals, pesticides, weedicides in agriculture. Parallelly, the government is promoting organic farming and agriculture to enhance food security and better health. Under the guidance of His Excellency the President, Sri Lanka has taken various initiatives for environmental sound management of polythene. Accordingly, plastic and polythene management concepts have been included in the country's Environment Charter for Sustainable Development. And 4 types of polythene products, including extended polystyrene, have recently been gazetted as banned items. Sri Lanka ratifies the Minamata Convention on Mercury this year in June as a 60th country. Further, the government is in the process of ratifying the Kigali Amendment of the Montreal Protocol to phase down the production and consumption of hydrofluorocarbons, which are potential global warming substances. In partnership with UNCRD, Clean Air Asia and the government of Japan, Sri Lanka organized the 8th Regional Environmentally Sustainable Transport Forum in November 2014 with representatives from 40 countries. The forum adopted the Colombo Declaration for the promotion of next-generation low-carbon transport solution in Asia. This is an overarching community by Asia in realizing low-carbon and resources-efficient societies. Chairperson, His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka has initiated a program to extend forest cover from 29% to 32% by 2020, targeting an annual increase of 30,000 acres. The National Action Program for Combating Land Degradation in Sri Lanka 2015 to 2024 has been formulated, ensuring sustainable land management. Sri Lanka, being a country with a coastline of 1,620 kilometers, has given highest priority to the protection of the marine environment and its resources. We are working with the UNEP Global Program of Action for the Protection of Marine Environment. In conclusion, Chairperson, on behalf of my government, I wish to record our appreciation for the continuous support to Sri Lanka by UNEP and the broader UN family. Such a cooperation has assisted Sri Lanka to manage its environment and natural resources in order to ensure national commitments for sustainable development for the benefit of the present and future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sri Lanka. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from Bangladesh.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Ministers, distinguished heads of delegations, other delegations, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. At the outset, let me convey my sincere thanks and appreciation to ESCAP and UN Environment for organizing important two ministerial events together for Asia and the Pacific. This is an excellent example of resource efficiency. I would also like the opportunity to register our gratitude to the Royal Government of Thailand for extending warm hospitality to me and my delegation. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, in our region, prevailing high density of population with massive development activities are putting tremendous pressure on ecosystems and natural resources base of our countries. The adverse impacts of climate change are also aggravating in the situation. In this context, appropriate policy and institutional capacity building for sustainable land and water management, biodiversity conservation, forest ecosystem restoration, climate resilient development, and disaster management are crucial at all levels of government, especially with a greater emphasis at the local government level, where most of the programs and projects are to be implemented. Seventh five-year plan incorporates a green growth strategy to harmonize economic growth for better environmental sustainability. We have been investing a huge amount of domestic resources to carry forward the green activities meaningfully in line with the national policies, strategies, and master plans, such as national industry policy, renewable energy policy, national 3-year strategy, Bangladesh climate change strategy and action plan, energy efficiency and conservation master plan, as well as nationally determined contributions submitted before Paris Climate Conference. To be specific, we have put greater emphasis to energy efficiency, energy conservation, and utilization of renewable energy in industry and housing sector. More than 4.5 million solar home systems have been installed across the country, serving 18 million population. On industrial process, we are promoting cleaner production with the principle of resource efficiency and resource recycling. Now all major industrial units have been asked to submit and gradually implement zero discharge plans as a part of their environmental compliance. A great deal of efforts has been made to ensure their installation and operation to functional ETPs by the relevant industrial units. It is greatly felt that immediate and expanded catalytic and game-changing efforts are critically needed to achieve significant transformation towards green growth, ensuring enhanced international cooperation and support to developing countries, and bring about multiple co-benefit of mitigation actions are essentially important. Co-benefits related to economic growth and sustainable development, such as cost savings, poverty reduction, food security, energy security, improve public health, reductions of pollutants, biodiversity improvements are the main driving force for enhanced mitigation actions in developing countries. You know, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina received the highest award from United Nations regarding environment, the Champions of the Earth, for her outstanding leadership on climate change. We strongly believe in building new and innovative partnerships across in Asia and the Pacific, both regional and international involvement, government, private sectors, civil societies, and marginalized groups for a resource-efficient, inclusive, and pollution-free Asia and the Pacific. Just like there is no planet B, there is only one Asia Pacific to conserve. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Bangladesh. I now call on the distinguished delegate from Kazakhstan. Please have the floor.
Уважаемый председатель, уважаемые дамы и господа участники саммита, позвольте от имени правительства Республики Казахстан поприветствовать вас на 7-м Азиатско-Тихоокеанском саммите министров, посвященном вопросам окружающей среды, и выразить благодарность организаторам данного мероприятия, экономической и социальной комиссии для Азии Тихого океана ООН и правительству Таиланда. В Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе отмечаются высокие темпы экономического роста в мире. Однако этот быстрый рост усиливает давление на потенциальную емкость экосистемы региона. И мы считаем, что задача региона заключается в том, чтобы обеспечить экономический рост, столь необходимый для достижения целей устойчивого развития. И, конечно же, в первую очередь требуются согласованные действия в ответ на вызовы, связанные с глобальными и региональными проблемами окружающей среды. Республика Казахстан, активно интегрируясь в мировое экономическое и политическое пространство, не только ставит перед собой амбициозные цели, но также предлагает свое видение, тем самым беря на себя долю ответственности за то, каким будет этот мир через 5, 10 и 30 лет. Поддержанная в 2010 году на 6-й конференции министров по охране окружающей среды и развитию Азиатско-Тихоокеанского региона, астанинская инициатива «Зеленый мост» стала одним из инструментов последовательного продвижения региональной платформы для создания согласованной стратегии налаживания надежного канала для диалога по вопросам политики и охраны окружающей среды между Азией, Европой и Тихоокеанским регионом. Следующим практическим шагом стало проведение в этом году в Астане международной специализированной выставки «Экспо-2017» на тему «Энергия будущего». Как вы знаете, более 130 стран и международных организаций приняли участие и представили свои достижения развития в таких областях, как развитие возобновляемых источников энергии, энергосбережение, повышение энергоэффективности, увеличение доли переработанных отходов в секторе промышленности, перевод автотранспорта на экологические виды топлива. При поддержке агентств ООН, в первую очередь ООН «Окружающая среда» и ESCAP, продвижение развития инициативы «Зеленый мост» и как наследие выставки «Экспо» будет создан Международный центр зеленых технологий под названием
энергия будущего. Мы уверены, что в будущем программа партнерства «Зеленый мост» и создаваемый центр внесут вклад в глобальное устойчивое развитие Азиатско-Тихоокеанского региона через поддержку зеленых технологий и инвестиций. Наряду с продвижением международных инициатив Казахстан проводит последовательную национальную политику приверженности курсу устойчивого развития, приверженность нашей страны принятым национальным обязательствам в рамках повестки дня до 2030 года. Парижское климатическое соглашение определило зеленую экономику одним из важных инструментов обеспечения развития нашей страны. Высокий темп преобразования в сфере государственной политики определен благодаря стратегическому программному документу «Стратегия Казахстана 2050», который ставит перед нами высокие цели. Масштабная программа модернизации экономики нашей страны требует ответственного отношения к окружающей среде. В этой связи совершенствование национального законодательства в целях гармонизации с международными стандартами в области рационального использования природных ресурсов, минимизации воздействия на окружающую среду является актуальной задачей для Казахстана. Мы уже сделали первый шаг навстречу переходу к зеленой экономике, реализуя на государственном уровне соответствующую концепцию с 2013 года. Казахстан, определив долгосрочные национальные цели развития, способствующие достижению глобальных задач по устойчивому развитию и предлагая соответствующие механизмы по их достижению, включая международное сотрудничество и благоприятную среду для развития зеленого бизнеса в национальном масштабе, демонстрирует ответственное отношение к сохранению окружающей среды и переходу к энергоэффективной экономике. Благодарю за внимание и желаю плодотворной работы всем участникам сегодняшнего саммита. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Kazakhstan. Distinguished delegates, we are beginning to fall behind, so I remind you all again, please try to stick to your 3-minute time allocation. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from Japan.
Gicho, アジア太平洋各国の閣僚の皆様、本日お集まりの皆様、日本政府を代表し、アジア太平洋閣僚サミットにおいて意見表明を行うことを光栄に思っております。私からは、アジア太平洋地域の持続可能な開発の実現に向けて、我が国が重要と考える5つの分野について述べたいと思います。まず第一には、SDGs は2030年をまでに国際社会が国内外で実施すべき行動や目標を示すものとしてアジア太平洋地域の各国にとって大変重要な目標です。我が国は昨年12月、安倍晋三総理大臣のリーダーシップのもと SDGs 実施指針を策定し、政府一丸となって取り組むことで環境はもとより経済、社会の諸問題を含め複数課題の同時解決を目指します。第2に、資源循環を社会・経済システムに取り組むため、取り組みを一層促進をすべきです。廃棄物のリデュース、リユースおよびリサイクルという 3R への世界的取り組みは 3Ds のゴール12、持続可能な消費と生産の実現に必要不可欠な取り組みです。我が国は本年12月にインドにおいてアジア太平洋 3R 推進フォーラムをインド政府、国連地域開発センターと共催しますので、ぜひ機内各国の皆様の積極的な参加をお願いいたします。第3に、環境上適正な技術として再エネ等の低炭素技術の開発、普及が重要です。我が国はパリ協定に位置づけられた二国間クレジット制度、JCM を活用し、各国の具体的な温室効果ガス削減事業の実施を支援しており、アジア太平洋地域でも JCM パートナー国と連携していきたいと考えています。第4に、SDGs のゴール11、持続可能な都市の実現は地域共通の課題です。我が国は東アジア首脳会議の枠組みのもと、2010年から毎年環境的に持続可能な都市、ESC のハイレベルセミナーを開催しています。また、日本、 ASEAN 統合基金による ASEAN ESC モデル都市プログラムを実施し、これまで41都市の取り組みを支援してまいりました。これらにより、地域における SDGs の取り組みに引き続き貢献をしてまいります。最後に、アジア諸国において、急速な都市化と経済成長によるもたらされた公害問題を回避し、廃棄物処理のニーズを高いレベルで満たす環境インフラの整備は極めて重要と考えています。我が国環境省は本年7月に環境インフラ海外展開基本戦略を発表し、各国での環境インフラの導入促進を支援し、気候変動対策や循環経済の促進、環境改善等に最大限貢献していきます。我が国には激甚な公害の経験を克服し、培ってきた優れた環境技術やノウハウがあります。機内各国に我が国の高度な技術等を提供することにより、地域の環境問題の克服に貢献できますので、ぜひご活用していただければと考えます。皆様、ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much, Japan, and thank you very much for sticking within the 3-minute time limit. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from Laos People's Democratic Republic.
Madam Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed my great pleasure to take this opportunity to sincerely press the thank the government of Thailand and the ESCAP and UNEP for the excellent arrangement they have made in organizing this important event. The environment and development are interconnected. During the past decades, the global efforts were made to implement the Millennium Development Goals and the most recent Sustainable Development Goals. The climate change impact and the World Economic Declare put the pressure on the development. Like other developing countries, Laos is heavily relies on the use of natural resources to drive its economic growth and the poverty eradication. The economic valuation of the natural resources needs to be better reflected in the national development agenda, and it needs to mainstream into the public investment planning cycle so that it can provide the platform for better natural resources development, optimization planning. Moreover, focusing on the non-extractable sector for the development is later interesting where the utilization of such resources is made in the sustainable and renewable manners. And lastly, applying the conventional tool and instrument to support the integrated environmental management is beneficial. Laos is now applying the environmental impact assessment, strategic environment assessment, and the integrated spatial planning. These tools are considered to assist to ensure the integrated national resources management across sectors. However, it has no doubt that the success of applying these tools depends highly on how best we can mainstream it into the national and sector development planning cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lau. And thank you as well for staying within the 3-minute time allotment. I now invite the delegate from the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the Compassionate, the Merciful, Excellencies, distinguished ministers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chair, first and foremost, I wish to express my gratitude to the people and government of Royal Kingdom of Thailand, ESCAP and UN Environment Office in Bangkok for hosting this conference and the hospitality extended to my delegation. We are here to further enhance the strong interlinkages between environment protection and sustainable development in our region as the most important priority in order to ensure environmental sustainability for the present and future generations. I wish to highlight that the modern definition of sustainable development had been placed in the Islamic Republic of Iran's constitution 13 years before Rio Summit, and hence all short, medium, and long-term development plans are to adhere to this principle constitutional law. The principle of common but differentiated responsibility constitutes the ethical base of all UN-wide system activities, in particular the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The global community members, in the context of their national circumstances and priorities, expect to see the sustainable development entangled with the realization of environmental protection principles. In this regard, we need different expressions of this principle even beyond those of the SDGs. It is hoped that jointly with the UN family, we can rapidly turn the lives of our peoples in the Asian Pacific region to meet the improved living standards they rightfully deserve. This is why my delegation believes that the continuation of this conference provides a unique opportunity to install and strengthen a functional system based on all-inclusive justice and previous regional and international commitments. Madam Chair, in order to achieve efficient sustainable resource management, the following important points must be turned into national and regional actions. 1. Decoupling developments from environmental degradation through promoting regional practical models. 2. Moving towards pollution-free and climate-smart environment in various sectors, namely agriculture, health, water, energy industry, transportation, and housing. 3. Identification of rapidly emerging environmental development challenges such as sand and dust storms, leading to multidimensional socio-economic phenomena with a view to promote regional joint collaboration through the engagement and participation of all stakeholders and interested groups. In this regard, Iran hosted the first international conference on combating sand and dust storms, challenges and practical solutions to enhance 72/7 UNGA United Nations General Assembly resolution, as well as 70/195, and in full conformity with Para 7 of UNGA Resolution 219, operative section. The outcomes of this unique international event are a Tehran ministerial declaration and a technical recommendation to be taken up for further consideration by the forthcoming UNGA in September 2017, as well as UNIA 3. Ladies and gentlemen, achieving promoted ecological resource efficiency together with economic growth is another important topic discussed today in global fora. What one may comprehend from sustainable development is the promotion of human intelligence and progress towards all-inclusive welfare, benefiting more from the life gifts and improvement in indices such as the level of education, health, poverty eradication. Strengthening the international mechanisms and cooperation in order to achieve implementable objectives, responding to the necessities and commitments to the SDGs, incorporating incentives and tax rebates within a specific time frame, whilst avoiding any coercive measures, can help the trust-building process and promote global good governance and multilateralism. Sustainable management of water resources, whether surface or underground, is another important component of sustainable development. Currently, there are a number of predicaments in this area, namely, 1, the inadequate attention to environmental water rights for different ecosystems such as wetlands. 2, lack of an integrated transboundary ecosystem-based shared water resource management program with the cooperation of all riparian countries or countries sharing the same watershed. Madam Chair, improvement of energy resource management for sustainable development and environmental pollution remedies have long been in the minds of energy planners all over the world. Carbon market and increased energy efficiency enhancements are indeed encouraging policies offering financial incentives whilst avoiding legal pressures for the polluting factories to deploy control and reduction measures. In other words, in the context of combating global warming and in line with international instruments such as the UNFCCC and its Paris Agreement, energy efficiency enhancements, energy savings and conservation, and together with the adoption of alternative low-carbon and/or renewable energy sources in full coherence with Article 2 of Paris Agreement, are recommended. It is equally necessary to build national and regional capacities to formulate socio-economic development plans compatible with climate change for countries in Asia and the Pacific. This capacity building includes creating shared data repositories, training experts and managers, climate change impacts monitoring systems at national and regional levels, and provision of technological demands for climate change adaptation and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Madam Chair, in conclusion, the presence of so many high-ranking officials in this conference signifies the importance and the extent of wisdom this event has brought about. Therefore, it looks inevitable for our visions to go beyond borders, locations, times, and materialistic living variables. Today, the world is waiting to lead to a global community that better appreciates God's gifts. Our world is indeed of serious changes and solid solutions in order to revive and strengthen a good global governance system that can secure the interests of all our citizens in the region and bring happiness, sustainable peace, and prosperity for all. I genuinely thank you all for your patience and your green attention. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Islamic Republic of Iran. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from Samoa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, colleagues. On behalf of Samoa, I would like to firstly thank the government and people of Thailand for hosting this Asia-Pacific Ministerial Summit on Environment. As well, I would like to thank ESCAP and UNEP for organizing this summit, which brings together two ministerial platforms for Asia-Pacific. This is a positive sign for good collaboration and coordination between the two agencies. At the outset, Samoa continues to adopt an integrated approach in the development and implementation of its national development strategy, which has been updated to 2017-2020 and continues to uphold the three pillars of sustainable development. The implementation of sector planning reforms has seen the development and implementation of prioritized and costed sector-wide programs to achieve national priorities in a coordinated manner that is inclusive of all stakeholders from the Pacific and private sectors, NGOs, local communities, and development partners. Chair, we reiterate that climate change remains the single greatest threat to livelihood, security, and well-being of our people. At the national level, Samoa recognizes that climate change is a priority policy determinant for Samoa now and well into the future. We believe, therefore, that national development policy and planning processes are crucial to shaping how Samoa effectively responds to climate change issues and challenges. Samoa supports the call for a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific and is committed to playing its role to contribute to the realization of this goal, which is consistent with our international commitment, including the Paris Agreement, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Samoa Pathway, and key regional frameworks. Vital to achieving a resource-efficient Asia-Pacific is the urgent need to develop and implement effective policies that promote sustainable consumption and production patterns and low carbon and resource-efficient development. Samoa has made a bold commitment through its INDC, intended in nationally determined contribution, to generate 100% of its electricity by 2025 from renewable energy sources. A biogas electrification plant is nearing completion at one of our rural communities, and we acknowledge the financial support from the government of Denmark through the SID Dog Big Crab Plus project where the feedstock for the biodigester will make use of the invasive Meremia vine and other green waste, food waste, and septic waste. In addition, Samoa Youth with a Mission Group, YWAM, is developing and installing biogas plant in a number of Pacific islands to demonstrate the many uses and benefits of biogas. And we acknowledge the financial support from the government of Kazakhstan and ESCAP in this area. Chair, Samoa has proposed to conduct a biomass gasification plant under its GF6 allocation. The main feedstock for gasifier will be the invasive wood biomass found in large amount around the island. On energy efficiency, Samoa is also heavily promoting energy efficiency, and energy efficiency bill is currently being tabled to control and monitor the importation of electrical appliances based on energy efficiency. Furthermore, Samoa's effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions targeting its transport sector will be consolidated with the finalization of its NAMA, Nationally Appropriate Mitigation Action, this year. Samoa NAMA submission includes the use of small electric buses around the city area and upscaling the production of biodiesel for public access and usage. The transport sector is currently the highest greenhouse gas emitter in Samoa. Finally, Chair, we would like to welcome further partnership talks with ESCAP, UNEP, and development partners as outcome of this summit to identify priority areas of collaboration. We welcome ESCAP and UNEP to continue the coordination among themselves and strengthen their role in accessing crucial funds to implement regional projects based on identified regional priorities. Samoa look forward to continue its partnership with ESCAP and UNEP, including member states, to ensure resource-efficient Asia-Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you, Samoa. Distinguished delegates, before I open the floor to the next delegate, please allow me to take my hat off as chair of this session and speak on behalf of Fiji. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our Prime Minister and the Government of Fiji, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to ESCAP and UNEP and also the Royal Thai Government for their warm hospitality in this dynamic city with its very warm weather and gracious people. From the outset, I would like to reiterate that Fiji supports and is committed to the full implementation of the Transforming Our World 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We continue to mainstream the SDGs into our policies and plans, including our National Development Plan. We are calling for not only a pollution-free Asia-Pacific region, but a pollution-free planet. Fiji's constitution provides for inclusive socio-economic development and guarantees all citizens the right to a clean and healthy environment. Fiji has in place a green growth framework, restoring a balance in development that is sustainable beyond today. The Green Growth Framework recognizes and states that Fiji's current development path is largely driven by the changing consumption and production patterns of its people, which has been exacerbated by world events such as the global economic crisis, increases in food and fuel prices, and the impacts of climate change. The Green Growth Framework for Fiji is a tool to accelerate integrated and inclusive sustainable development, which intends to inspire action at all levels to strengthen environmental resilience, drive social improvement, and reduce poverty, enhance economic growth, and also build capacity to withstand and manage the anticipated adverse effects of climate change. To support the vision of the Green Growth Framework, a prosperous Fiji for all, taking into consideration the global and regional developments in green growth, the guiding principles of the framework includes, number one, reducing carbon footprints at all levels. Number two, improving resource utilization and productivity, simply put, doing more with less. Number three, developing a new integrated approach with all stakeholders collaborating and collectively working together for the common good. The cross-cutting nature of issues relating to sustainable development requires harmony and synergy in the formulation of strategies. Number 4, strengthening socio-cultural education of responsible environmental stewardship and civic responsibility. Number 5, increasing the adoption of comprehensive risk management practices. Number 6, supporting the adoption of sound environmental auditing of past and planned developments in order to provide support to initiatives which not only provide economic benefits, but also improve the environmental situation. Number 7, enhancing structural reforms in support of fair competition and efficiency. And number 8, incentivizing investment in the rational and efficient use of natural resources. For Fiji, the impetus of green growth arises from the need to better harness natural resources, reduce vulnerability to environmental risks, and promote socially inclusive development. Population growth, increasing urbanization, unsustainable consumption and resource use, infrastructure deficits, and increasing frequency of natural disasters due to climate change, all these heighten the risk of food and energy insecurity and threaten economic and social progress. Left unchecked, natural capital, and in particular biodiversity, will steadily decline due to the overexploitation of natural resources, invasive species, poor waste management, and increasing population damage. The impacts of climate change will continue to further impede Fiji's efforts to achieve sustainable development. Fiji is particularly vulnerable to increased frequency and intensity of natural disasters and to sea level rise, which will have negative impacts on food security, coral reef and forest biodiversity, and the prevalence of certain infectious diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a proud small island developing state and a large ocean state, and we recognize that oceans must not be used as a dumping ground to achieve our economic aspirations. Fiji is taking steps to address marine pollution. Recently, our government introduced a 10-cent levy on plastic bags, and we are pleased to announce that there was a significant reduction in the usage of plastic bags in just the first 15 days of this initiative. Our Prime Minister is a very strong advocate of environment and climate change. In June this year, he co-chaired the World Oceans Conference in New York alongside Sweden, and in November, he is the incoming president of COP23. Our Prime Minister has made many calls to global citizens and leaders to protect our environment and to reduce global emissions to save the planet. I now take this opportunity to thank our UN family for their hard work and continuous support. Fiji will continue to engage with the UN and leaders of the world to address the environmental challenges we face to save the one planet we all call home. Ladies and gentlemen, we must act now and we must act smart. There is no time for a plan B because there is no planet B. Thank you. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from Cambodia.
Madam Chair, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be here today. On behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, I would like to thank the UNEP, ESCAP, and the Royal Government of Thailand for hosting this Asia-Pacific Ministerial Summit and providing excellent arrangement with warm welcome and hospitality. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, different countries have different challenges to tackle to contribute to a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. Cambodia has spared no time and established both institutional and legislations along with policy frameworks to pursue sustainable development goals. Cambodia has a national strategy called Rectangular Strategy Phase 3 as our umbrella policy frameworks, and a number of policies documents such as the Industrial Development Policies, National Policy on Green Growth, and its strategic plan, and the Cambodian Climate Change Strategy. Environmental pollutions and resource efficiencies has been partly incorporated in these documents. Cambodia also has a National Council for Sustainable Development as an interministerial mechanism to coordinate among relevant ministries and stakeholders to integrate environmental issues into development plans. The Council is recently working on the development of environmental code and national environment strategy and action plan, which is developed to take stock of Cambodia's natural resources management, measure the benefits of environmental stabilities, and introduce financial incentive to encourage business to operate more sustainably. Cambodia has stopped giving land concessions, stopped logging activities, appropriate land use for agriculture, and increased our protected area to about 7.5 million hectares, equaling to over 41% of our territory, of which we are turning this protected area into a biodiversity corridor, or better yet, called eco-tourism corridor, turning forest community who used to live depending on forest and non-forest product to depend on providing service to tourists who will be enjoying the eco-tourism corridor of our tourist destinations. At the same time, we are preparing national strategy and action plans to ensure effective and efficient use of conservation of the areas. Currently, Cambodia is also preparing the National REDD+ strategy to promote sustainable management and land and forestry resources. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we believe this Asia-Pacific Ministerial Summit on the Environment is a part of effectiveness in tackling environmental and natural resources issues and cannot be separated from a number of significant factors, such as strong support and commitment from political leaderships, good governance, multi-player partnerships and cooperations, a right approach through promoting science-based policy and availability of good technology, as well as mobilize financial resources. Cambodia hopes that this is a great opportunity for state representatives to meet and share experiences and best practices on efficient consumption frameworks and implementations. Further cooperation, either in the form of bilateral or multilateral arrangement, would be a good option for countries with best practices to share the knowledge and provide technical and financial support to developing countries. Finally, as a representative of the Royal Government of Cambodia, I would like to highly appreciate your efforts in sharing a better world for our and future generations. I would like to conclude my statement by reaffirming our commitment to work towards sustainable development and a pollution-free planet for present and future coming generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cambodia. Distinguished delegates, we have just 45 minutes left, and I still have another 16 delegates to speak, so we really must insist that people please keep to the 3-minute timeline. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate from the Philippines.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We wish to briefly share key initiatives of the Philippine government through the Department of Environment and Natural Resources on environmental protection and resource efficiency and pollution reduction. The National Greening Program is the government's forest rehabilitation program. Since its launching in 2011, the program has covered more than 1,600,000 hectares nationwide. The program contributed to employment generation and livelihood development in the Philippines. Largely, the people's organizations are our partner in the implementation of this program. This program is also climate change mitigation strategy, as it seeks to enhance the country's biodiversity conservation and forest stock to absorb carbon dioxide. To reduce pollution, we impose the use of clean engine fuel. In addition, we are maintaining 39 real-time air quality monitoring stations and more will be installed. On water quality, more than 700 memoranda of agreement were parts with the private sector on the adoption of Pisteros. On the solid waste management, we now have more than 9,000 material recovery facilities servicing more than 13,000 barangays or villages. We are now in the process of acquiring firefighting equipment as well as drones and laser technologies to boost our forest protection and anti-illegal logging campaign program. An audit of metallic mines was conducted to ensure compliance with environmental laws. As the Philippines experienced powerful typhoons in recent years, where we lost thousands of lives and properties in massive scale, massive or intense information education campaign were carried on geohazards such as flooding and rain-induced landslides were undertaken in more than 27,000 local government units and villages. As basis for effective management of coastal and marine resources, we map and assess over 56,000 hectares of coral reef ecosystems to delineate coral reefs and associated habitats for protection and rehabilitation. Madam Chair, we also wish to inform that the Philippines will host the 12th Conference of the Parties to the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals on October 23 to 28 in Manila. The theme for COP12 in the Philippines is "Their Future is Our Future, Sustainable Development for Wildlife and People." Around 900 delegates all over the globe, consisting environment ministers and other government officials from 124 parties, international organizations, scientists, and private sectors are expected to attend. Excellencies, this year marks the Philippine chairmanship of ASEAN, which coincides with the golden anniversary of the organization. Our theme, Partnering for Change, Engaging the World, reflects our advocacy to foster cooperation within the region and with external partners.
Excuse me, Delegate, time, please.
Through our key priorities, we aim to strengthen regional integration. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Philippines. I now invite the delegate from Indonesia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, allow me first and foremost to congratulate the elected Bureau of this meeting. I believe the able leadership of the Bureau will successfully guide the session to its conclusion. Let me also congratulate and thank UN ESCAP and UN Environment for all the hard work and excellent preparation of this meeting. Resource efficient and pollution-free planet is indeed among the future we want. 5 years ago, in 2012, during the Rio+20 conference in Rio de Janeiro, we renewed our commitment in achieving the future we want, sustainable development. Therefore, it is timely to pursue our development differently and no longer a time to put effort in gaining economic growth away from achieving environmental goals. In this regard, renewing our commitment to make sustainable development work for the people, it's not a matter of choice. The region's environmental and social diversity offers an opportunity to address these problems, build resilience, and create prosperity for today's population and future generation. New and innovative ways to cope with these present and emerging challenges are needed to be explored. As for Indonesia, along with its economic achievement, the environmental agenda has made significant advances. Environmental regime has grown, for example, on biodiversity, on climate change, on forestry, and on air pollution, on waste management, and marine litter. We currently undertaking robust policy and initiative to ensure that the development path will be moving towards strong balance and sustainable growth based on transparent, accountable, and effective democratic governance. As a country with mega biodiversity, both terrestrial and aquatic, in addressing natural resources and biodiversity conservation, various efforts have been taken. We also recognize the traditional knowledge, innovation, and practice of local communities to make an important contribution to the conservation. With regard to marine plastic litter as well as agenda on ocean, some initiative in progress as well as relevant policy regarding, including pay for plastic bag policy, less plastic, more fantastic, and also support initiative for the community for establishing the trash bank. In reducing pollution, continuous effort and initiative has been taking in place since years ago, including green and clean cities, business environmental performance rating systems, eco-driving, and other initiatives. To enhance implementation and effort in achieving sustainable development goals, we have issued presidential decree and set up national secretariat to ensure the implementation of the SDGs and principle of green economy will be recognized in our development activities. Various instruments, including economic incentive, are also being developed and implemented, including new policy on sustainable financing as to guide financial institutions and investment to make more active roles and affirmative action in moving toward resource efficiency and sustainable development. Madam Chair, allow my delegation to share some substantial points on how to move forward and make toward resource efficiency and pollution-free planet a workable agenda. First, we should ensure that sustainable development is at the central goals of the global agenda. Second, strengthening multi-layer collaboration and regional. It's indeed a matter of urgency. Third, national development policy and strategy should be guided by the principle of resource efficiency and sustainable development. Fourth, by taking into account national priorities and circumstances and level of development of each country, the agenda of resource efficient and pollution-free will be able to help us in moving towards sound economic transformation, poverty eradication, and environmental sustainability. At the end, let me urge everybody of us to have a common platform for policy coherency and resource mobilization. We see our future policy instrument and mobilized resources for affirmative action as an engine of social cohesiveness, advancing the future we want, sustainable development. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Indonesia. I now give the floor to the Russian Federation.
Уважаемая госпожа председатель, спасибо за предоставленное слово. Уважаемые коллеги, разрешите вас от имени правительства Российской Федерации поприветствовать на данном мероприятии. В 2017 году президент объявил в России годом экологии и годом особо охраняемых природных территорий. Цель – привлечение внимания общества к вопросам экологического развития нашей страны. Развитие экологической ответственности всех слоев общества, сохранение биоразнообразия и обеспечение экологической безопасности. Коротко хочу осветить основные мероприятия, проводимые в России. В первую очередь, совершенствование водного, лесного, земельного законодательства. Переход на наилучшие доступные технологии, в рамках чего запланирован комплекс природоохранных мероприятий по модернизации производств и переход на ресурсосберегающие технологии крупными российскими и международными предприятиями. Совершенствование управления отходами, в рамках чего запланирована рекультивация очень большого количества полигонов бытовых отходов и открытие десятков новых мусоросортировочных, мусороперерабатывающих комплексов и центров обращения с отходами. Правительством России также реализуется национальный проект «Чистая страна», в рамках которого будут ликвидированы объекты прошлого накопленного экологического ущерба. На сегодняшний день в России функционирует более 13 тысяч особо охраняемых природных территорий различных категорий. Общая площадь их составляет более 2 миллионов квадратных километров, что составляет более 12% площади государства. На сегодняшний день федеральная система насчитывает более 200 таких территорий, и в этом году запланировано создать еще 7 таких новых территорий. Международный статус в России имеет 71 охраняемая территория. Следующий вопрос – это охрана водных ресурсов. Запланировано большое количество мероприятий по снижению негативного воздействия на водные объекты, сохранение озера Байкал, а также строительство новых очистных сооружений и укрепление береговых линий озер и рек. В заповедной системе России накоплен богатый практический опыт в области сохранения популяции крупных млекопитающих. И сегодня реализуются программы по стабилизации и увеличению исчезающих видов животных, таких как амурский тигр, переднеазиатский и дальневосточный леопард, белый медведь. Также особое внимание уделяется экологическому просвещению и региональным программам по освещению наиболее актуальных вопросов в сфере сохранения и развития экологии. По инициативе Минприроды России в России проводится международный форум «Экотех». В 2016 году на этом мероприятии приняло более 10 тысяч участников из России и более 20 стран мира. В 2017 году он будет проходить в декабре. Я всех приглашаю принять участие, потому что выставка призвана поддержать государственную стратегию по развитию зеленой экономики и стать главной витриной экологических технологий и инноваций страны. Мы рассчитываем, что созданная нами законодательная база даст создание площадок для обмена опытом в области зеленых технологий и позволит рост качества жизни населения. Уважаемый председатель, благодарю вас за внимательное отношение к моему выступлению, а также желаю всем всего самого наилучшего. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Russia. I now give the floor to Pakistan.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulih al-Kareem. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Chair, good afternoon. At the outset, allow me to state that by crossing out 60% of my statement, I have made it sustainable and resource compliant. I have set my timer at 15 seconds less than 3 minutes. Pakistan has remained actively engaged in achieving better international and regional environmental governance. I would like to express our special appreciation to Mr. Eric Solheim, Executive Director of UNEP, Dr. Shamshad Akhtar, Executive Secretary of ESCAP, Dr. Dichen Sering, Regional Director, and their teams for holding this great event, and also for their vision in the steering process, for providing strategic guidance for achieving a resource-efficient and pollution-free planet. I am thankful to their support to Pakistan through a number of important regional initiatives, such as the Regional Policy Support Program for the preparation of our INDCs, our National Action Plan on Sustainable Consumption and Production, our Technology Needs Assessment Program for Climate Change Adaptation. These actions are an attempt to strengthen sustainable development governance and the pathways to green economy in Pakistan. This pathway, I appreciate, is far from an easy one. It must be navigated through a process of learning and adaptation. Pakistan is a frontline state which is directly facing adverse effects of climate change. We have lost precious lives, livelihoods, and infrastructure on account of unprecedented devastating floods. A World Bank report puts our climate losses at $4 billion annually. With 210 million people surviving on less than 900 cubic meters of water, of which 70% comes from glaciers, we are fully cognizant of the need for SCP. Our work at the international and regional levels may be well known to many delegates. At the national level, it is my pleasure to share with you that Pakistan has become the first country in the world whose National Assembly passed a unanimous resolution adopting the SDGs as its own national development agenda. At 1 megawatt, our parliament is almost totally operated on solar energy. The parliament has also passed the Climate Change Act, establishing the Pakistan Climate Change Authority, which is headed by the Prime Minister. We have just declared the first marine protected area. Distinguished delegates, the key to a future will be a healthy earth. We must act on the assumption that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, but borrow it from our children. Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe I've finished within my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pakistan. You have finished well before your time. I now give the floor to the Republic of Tajikistan.
Уважаемый председатель, уважаемые министры, глав делегации, дамы и господа, прежде всего позвольте поблагодарить за предоставленную возможность участвовать в работе настоящего форума высокого уровня и выразить признательность его организаторам ESCAP ООН, ЮНЕП и правительства Таиланда за создание хороших условий для нашей работы. Подобные встречи дают возможность обменяться мнениями о сложившейся ситуации в области охраны окружающей среды, путях реализации принципов устойчивого развития в наших странах и регионе в целом, поделиться опытом создания необходимых предпосылок и условий для решения существующих экологических проблем. Республика Таджикистан находится на переходном этапе своего суверенного развития, уверенно стоит в свои политические и социально-экономические отношения в рамках демократических начал и принципах рыночных отношений. В республике создана необходимая законодательная основа по предотвращению негативного воздействия на окружающую природную среду. Все это в совокупности с имеющимся человеческим потенциалом и соответствующей институционально-правовой основой во многом благоприятствует переходу Таджикистана к зеленой экономике. Вместе с тем в стране все еще остаются некоторые вопросы и проблемы деградации природной среды, которые требуют решения. Сегодня уже очевидно, что вопросы охраны окружающей среды и рационального природопользования неразрывно связаны с вопросами социально-экономического развития. Главная задача, стоящая в нынешнем этапе развития страны, это обеспечение доступа населения к благоприятной окружающей среде через экономический рост. Климатические условия и горный рельеф Таджикистана создали благоприятные возможности для формирования уникальных горных экосистем, значительных запасов пресной воды и гидроэнергетических ресурсов, многообразия полезных ископаемых, благоприятных условий для выращивания экологически чистых продуктов питания, развития экологического туризма. В вопросе эффективного управления гидроэнергоресурсами и рационального использования водных ресурсов является одним из важных приоритетных направлений в устойчивом развитии страны. Общий объем выбросов парниковых газов в Таджикистане составляет всего 2-3% от базового 90-го года, что является наименьшим показателем в Центральной Азии. Это объясняется тем, что 98% электроэнергии в Таджикистане производится гидроэлектростанциями. При условии освоения потенциала гидроэнергоресурсов Таджикистан реально мог бы сделать существенный вклад в озеленение секторов экономики стран Центральной и Южной Азии, тем самым значительно способствуя снижению выбросов парниковых газов в регионе и уменьшению потребления углеводородного топлива. Одним из уникальных проектов в этом плане является проект КАСа-1000, линия электропередач, который представит возможность передачи более 1000 мегаватт экологически чистой электроэнергии из Таджикистана и Кыргызстана в Афганистан и Пакистан. В 2016 году принята национальная стратегия развития Республики Таджикистан на период до 2030 год и среднесрочная программа развития на 2016-2020 годы. В этих документах отражены в том числе и вопросы рационального природопользования, снижения уровня загрязнения окружающей среды и адаптационные меры, связанные с изменением климата. В частности, учитываются международные обязательства Республики Таджикистан по повестке дня на 21 век и целям устойчивого развития. Правительством страны принимаются конкретные меры по проведению исследований и поиске решений смягчения негативных последствий изменения климата и реализации адаптационных мер. Планирование в условиях высокого риска требует больших инвестиций, которыми Таджикистан в силу финансово-экономических возможностей не располагает. Между тем, эти риски имеют региональный характер, и в этой связи необходимо усиление деятельности региональных институтов по развитию сотрудничества в регионе в области устойчивого развития, эффективного использования природных ресурсов, в том числе совершенствование механизмов управления водными ресурсами с учетом проблем сохранения экосистем, связанных с водой, таянием ледников, повышением температуры и растущим дефицитом водных ресурсов. Переход к устойчивому развитию Республики Таджикистан требует содействия экологической и экономической политики от традиционных методов к осуществлению мер по экологизации хозяйственной деятельности и институциональных преобразований с целью создания эффективных рыночных структур, формирования соответствующих правовых и экономических механизмов, регулирования экологических сфер, создания нормативно-правовой среды, развития экономических инструментов и вопросов финансирования для обеспечения перехода к зеленой экономике. Несмотря на достигнутые успехи в восстановлении и развитии промышленного потенциала страны, ряд технологических и экологических проблем сохраняется. Это прежде всего осталась технологическая база и высокая степень износа из основных фондов, низкий уровень инновационной активности.
Excuse me, Tajikistan, your time is up. Could you please wrap up?
Принимая во внимание перспективы экономические планы развития производственных секторов экономики страны, по увеличению новых мощностей по производству электроэнергии, добыче полезных ископаемых, модернизации промышленности, важным остается перевод всего производственного сектора на мало- и безотходное производство с учетом цикличной экономики и зеленых технологий. Реализация этих задач в первую очередь зависит от совместных усилий наших стран, международных и региональных организаций. Отрадно отметить, что вот уже на протяжении многих лет сотрудничество с ESCAP и ЮНЕП и другими институтами ООН успешно развивается. Мы уверены, что это позволит нам дальше решать назревшие проблемы своевременно. В завершении своего выступления хотел бы обратить ваше внимание на новую глобальную инициативу Таджикистана об объявлении Международного десятилетия действий воды для устойчивого развития, по которой Генассамблея ООН в декабре прошлого года приняла соответствующую резолюцию. Данная декада начинается в марте 2018 года и представляет уникальную возможность объединить наши усилия в достижении целей устойчивого развития, связанных с водой. Целью декады является повышение внимания к устойчивому развитию и комплексному управлению водными ресурсами для достижения социально-экономических и природоохранных целей и к осуществлению пропаганды соответствующих программ и проектов, а также расширению сотрудничества и партнерства на всех уровнях для содействия реализации согласованных на международном уровне целей и задач, связанных с водными ресурсами, в том числе содержащихся в повестке дня в области устойчивого развития на период до 2030 года. Уверен, международное сообщество должным образом воспользуется преимуществами и возможностями декады для решения водных и природоохранных вопросов и достижения целей устойчивого развития. Спасибо за внимание.
Thank you. I now give the floor to Afghanistan.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we have gathered here to reaffirm our joint commitment to building a cleaner and more sustainable Asia-Pacific that is free from pollution for the benefits of the present generations and the generations to come. We recognize that we are unable to tackle the challenges of pollution in isolation, and so we count on collaboration and cooperation at the national, regional, and international levels to move towards a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. Resource efficiency is vital for human well-being and the achievement of development objectives in all of our nations. Indeed, resource efficiency contributes towards tackling a multitude of socio-economic and environmental challenges, such as addressing climate change, ensuring energy security, preserving natural capital, improving economic competitiveness, pursuing social benefits, minimizing disposal costs, avoiding resource conflicts, and developing new business opportunities. Though environmental protection is comparably a new issue in our country, Afghanistan has taken strong steps to protect the environment and promote clean economic growth. We have prioritized natural resource management within our national development framework to preserve, invest in and utilize natural resources in a sustainable manner. Furthermore, priorities for achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals have been included within our development policies for national sectors such as health, infrastructure, social policies, for national sectors such as health, infrastructure, social policies for environment, social protection, agriculture and rural development and economy. Under the environmental law of 2007, we have developed a pollution control and management policy which represents an integrated approach towards managing and controlling pollution in collaboration with all relevant actors, government and otherwise. Moreover, Afghanistan has developed a waste management policy, environmental impact assessment policy, national environmental management strategy, regulation on the reduction and prevention of air pollution, regulation on control of ozone-depleting substances, regulation on managing and monitoring of clinical waste, and a regulation on control of water quality. To support implementation of these policies, strategies, and regulations, a further 25 environmental standards have been developed on topics such as water and air quality and solid waste and urban sewage treatment. Afghanistan is also party to 16 multilateral environmental agreements, including which are related to the biodiversity, climate change, chemicals, and land degradation. Afghanistan remains committed to the achievement of national and regional priorities in pursuit of a resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia-Pacific. To this end, we look forward to ongoing initiatives supporting regional cooperation, capacity building, and technology transfer. We hope that through platforms such as this one, we can continue to work together towards our joint vision of a more sustainable environment and a more prosperous societies. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Afghanistan. I now give the floor to the People's Republic of China. Please keep in mind our 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Ministers and respected delegates, my delegation would like to express our deep appreciation to Thai government and to ESCAP and the UNEP. I would like to take this opportunity to share some of the recent important progress of environment protection in China. Under the strong leadership of President Xi Jinping, we are doing our job and taking responsibilities. 环境保护部部长李干杰2周以前在韩国出席中日韩3国环境部长会议，将过去5年的过去5年的进展总结为5个方面的前所未有。对环境保护的思想认识、污染治理、创新环境制度、严格监管和执法、环境质量改善。这5个方面实实在在的进展的清单会非常长，我只给出2个例子。第一个例子是政策层面的。第一个就是中国在“十三五”期间的社会经济发展规划中，确定了创新、协调、绿色、开放、共享的发展理念。生态环境质量的改善列为全面建成小康社会的新目标，这是一项约束性的指标。中国还将2030年可持续发展目标结合到国家的发展规划之中。第二个例子是具体的。40年前，中国曾经被称为自行车王国。汽车非常少。过去30年来，汽车不断的增多，自行车不断的减少，带来了交通堵塞和空气污染问题。但是新的现象出现了，最近2、3年，自行车回到了中国的城市中，这是一种创新性的共享自行车，数量增长很快，既减少了污染，也减少了堵车，方便了市民的生活。下一步，中国政府将继续大力推进空气污染防治行动计划、水污染防治行动计划和土壤污染防治行动计划，持续推进环境质量改善。 主席女士、先生们、女士们，中国政府在致力于解决中国自身环境问题的同时，也在推动亚太区域和全球环境保护和可持续发展进程方面发挥着积极和建设性的作用。中国是巴黎协定的坚定支持者。中国在汞公约生效之前就已经批准了该公约。2周以前，环境保护部在北京与公约主席团成员举行了公约生效庆祝研讨会。中国的相关的工业行业都表示要严格履行公约规定的义务。Next week, COP13 of UNCCD will be held in China, and the COP15 of CBD will be held in Beijing in 2020. All of you are welcome to come to China to attend the COPs. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, People's Republic of China. I now give the floor to Uzbekistan.
Спасибо, уважаемый председатель. Уважаемые главы делегации, дамы и господа, позвольте от имени делегации Республики Узбекистан выразить слова признательности правительству Королевства Таиланда, ESCAP и ООН «Окружающая среда» за организацию данного мероприятия на высоком уровне и оказанное гостеприимство. Сегодня особое значение приобретает экологические аспекты принятия экономических решений, то есть интеграция экологической и экономической политики, а именно внедрение ресурсосберегающих и мало- или безотходных технологий, совершенствование системы экологических услуг, привлечение частного капитала и развитие частного предпринимательства, в том числе предоставление соответствующих льгот субъектам малого бизнеса с использованием широкого спектра экономических инструментов для обеспечения экологической устойчивости. В этой связи с уверенностью можем сказать, что обмен наилучшим опытом и особенно передовыми экологически чистыми технологиями на условиях взаимовыгодного сотрудничества является основными приоритетными задачами как развитых, так и развивающихся стран. В условиях требований сегодняшнего дня принятая президентом нашей страны стратегия действий по 5 приоритетным направлениям развития Республики Узбекистан в 2017-2021 годах стала значимым шагом в процессе, направленном на коренное повышение эффективности проводимых реформ и обеспечение всестороннего развития страны. Среди других вопросов стратегию отдельно уделяется внимание на обеспечение эффективной реализации государственной политики и совершенствование системы государственного управления и контроля в сфере экологии, охраны окружающей среды, рациональное использование и воспроизводство природных ресурсов, в том числе обращение с отходами. Отдельно хотел бы остановиться на принимаемых мерах в сфере энергетики и обращения с отходами. В частности, в секторе энергетики введены стандарты по энергетическому менеджменту производства и энергетической маркировке бытового оборудования. Осуществляется внедрение энергоэффективных технологий, системы уличного освещения, энергосберегающих ламп. Особое место занимает развитие и широкое применение альтернативных источников энергии. В последующие годы мы планируем ввести в строй еще 3 солнечные электростанции с общей мощностью каждой по 100 мегаватт. Мы также уделяем особое внимание на вопросы рационального использования природных ресурсов в регионе. Мы считаем, что использование трансграничных природных ресурсов должно основываться на основе общепринятых норм международного права с учетом интересов всех государств. С учетом ограниченности времени хотели бы сообщить то, что мы придаем особое значение развитию взаимовыгодного сотрудничества с государством в регионе. В этой связи хочу сообщить нашу готовность к дальнейшему расширению взаимовыгодного сотрудничества в следующих сферах. Во-первых, говоря об охране окружающей среды, для нас важное значение имеет осуществление кардинальных реформ в сфере управления с отходами. В этой связи мы готовы развивать сотрудничество с нашими иностранными и международными партнерами в трансферте передовых технологий по сортировке, утилизации, переработке и производству вторичных ресурсов. Во-вторых, речь идет о внедрении инновационных технологий, научно-технических разработок в сфере развития возобновляемой энергетики и повышения энергоэффективности, расширения производства и локализации энергосберегающего оборудования приборов, в том числе путем трансфера технологий и создания инженерных центров. В-третьих, развитие сотрудничества в сфере снижения загрязнений окружающей среды, в том числе реализация совместных мер по предотвращению деградации земель, улучшению их мелиоративного состояния, применению водосберегающих технологий, а также снижению загрязнения атмосферного воздуха. В-четвертых, мы поддерживаем инициативу по выработке взаимовыгодных инструментов сотрудничества государств Центральной Азии в области управления трансграничными водными ресурсами в бассейне Аральского моря и намерены участвовать в региональных консультациях по обсуждению новых разработанных конвенций об использовании водных ресурсов бассейнов рек Амударья и Сырдарья. Уважаемые участники, в завершении позвольте выразить убеждение в том, что настоящий саммит позволит нам обсудить и выявить взаимовыгодные направления дальнейшего сотрудничества.
Uzbekistan, your time is up. Please wrap up.
Желаю всем плодотворной работы и спасибо.
Thank you, Uzbekistan. I now give the floor to India.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the outset, let me also thank the Government of Thailand, UNEP and ESCAP for giving an opportunity for this deliberation and discussion in the above UNIA 3. It's my pleasure to address the distinguished ministers and representatives from the countries in Asia-Pacific region who are gathered here for the Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific and Forum of Ministers and Environment Authorities of Asia-Pacific. Representing India's commitment to address environmental issues, I look forward to a robust discussion on the Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific 2010, and the Regional Implementation Plan for Sustainable Development in Asia and Pacific 2011 to 2015. Let me assure that the 6 programs areas covered in the response to the implementation of the regional plan are as important to India as the rest of the world. We in India are committed to harmonizing rapid economic growth, employment generation, and environmental sustainability, promoting sustainable urban development, enhancing ecological sustainability, promoting sustainable urban development, enhancing ecological carrying capacity, improving energy resource management for sustainable development, improving water resource management for sustainable development, and enhancing the resilience of socio-economic development to climate change. The support extended by the Secretariat to Member States through resource mobilization, capacity building activities, and strategic partnership is very welcome. On the increasing urbanization, India is on the brink of an urban revolution, with its population in towns and cities expected to reach 600 million by 2031. We have launched the Smart City Mission in India to promote cities that provide core infrastructure and give a decent quality of life to its citizens, a clean and sustainable environment. A partnership for furthering agenda of clean and sustainable environmental is a major initiative that will enhance by the proposed energy efficiency and conservation measures. Therefore, the energy efficiency and conservation measures, integration of alternative and renewable energy into the national development policies, deployment and investment in clean energy technologies, and target setting for energy resource management is the top priority for India. Government of India has already launched India Resource Panel, making India the first country to have such a panel at the country level. Indian Resource Panel has drafted recommendation for India to plan on resource efficient practices and better use of secondary raw material in the Indian context. Air quality management is of equal importance to us. We are committed to take steps to regulate industrial and non-industrial pollution sources, improve waste management, and ensure phasing out of solid fuels for controlling air pollution. India looks forward to the discussion on the strengthening regional and sub-regional cooperation for promoting environmental standards and levels. The Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development for Asia and Pacific, promoting the transfer and use of environmentally sound technologies and elaboration of resource-efficient policies and practices is very important to the current global environmental context. Finally, the creation of a platform for providing high-level guidance on environmental issues within the context of sustainable development is a forward-looking initiative. It will be important for identifying regional responses and fostering environmental resolutions and actions that support implementation of environmental components on sustainable development goals and supporting the regional roadmap. I look forward to initiatives on environmental cooperation that will strengthen our future endeavor in Asia and the Pacific region. Thank you, Madam Chair. I hope I completed
Thank you so much, India. You were right on the dot. I now give the floor to Timor-Leste.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Excellencies, Minister, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to share with you Timor-Leste's perspective on environment achievement, challenge, as well as policy approach to address the challenge. Timor-Leste has a strong commitment toward the implementation of SDG goal. Furthermore, government and the parliament has passed some resolution to implement 2030 agenda. The government of Timor-Leste has formulated its environment policy to protection and conservation. One of the principles of this policy is sustainable and polluter-pays. Under this policy, the government of Timor-Leste has developed some environmental law and regulation to protect and conserve environment quality linked to this sustainable development. As a small island and coastal state around the world, Timor-Leste is still facing problems such as illegal fishing and in the southern coast, and it does cause environmental and financial damage of our people and our economy. Therefore, it is critical for us to protect the marine life and continue to implement General Assembly Resolution 21-312. On this issue, on environment degradation, climate change, flood, drought, fire, water shortage, loss of soil fertility, decreased food production, and pollution are not respecters of border. Therefore, we encourage all the countries to coordinate and support each other, especially countries with specific need to tackle the environment advertised, as well as harmonize the management of shared water and other resources to avoid and minimize conflict. Timor-Leste is actively involved in global state and commit to work actively to really support for the implementation of the SDG and to mobilize concrete commitment and sustainable and sustained engagement at all levels for the duration of this agenda. Effort to exchange experience and support fragile to fragile cooperation on the SDG through the G7+ network. Such cooperation is also integral part of this commitment. As a part of the implementation of the UNFCCC, Timor-Leste have received some financial and technical support to implement adaptation projects under the National Adaptation Program of Action, NAPA priorities. Some vulnerable areas and sectors under the National Adaptation Program of Action project has been addressed, but still required to build more climate resilience in the country. We would like to convey our sincere thanks to all donor countries and development agencies for their kind contribution. The government of Timor-Leste has ratified 3 Rio Conventions on Environmental in 2007, such as UNFCCC, UNCBD, and UNCCD. 2. This year, Timor-Leste has launched Timor-Leste Roadmap for the implementation of the 2030 Agenda and the SDG. This reflects the government's commitment to implement SDG and has ratified the Paris Agreement to combating climate change, which is instrument of ratification has been sent to the UN Secretary General as depository for agreement. Additionally, Timor-Leste have submitted as intent national determined contribution to the Secretariat of the UNFCCC. Under the INDC, the government of Timor-Leste has a strong willingness to increase climate resilience and reducing vulnerability for its people and ecosystem through the adaptation measure. Being part of the least developed country, a small island development state, the INDCC of Timor-Leste highlight low carbon development part as an appropriate mitigation measure for the country in order to limit global temperature increase.
Timor-Leste, your time, please.
Thank you. In terms of adaptation measure, the government of Timor-Leste has formulated national adaptation program for urgent and immediate adaptation needs. There are 9 different NAPA priorities for the country, such as food security and agriculture, water resource, human health, natural disaster, forestry and coastal zone management, livestock production, infrastructure for oil and gas, and capacity building. To end, I would like to emphasize that Timor-Leste government is looking forward to working with our global partners and other relevant stakeholders and use all the resources available to achieve the tangible result, especially in three important dimensions: economic, social, and environment. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Timor-Leste. I now give the floor to Thailand.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Excellency, Minister, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Thailand would like to join other countries in thanking UN Environment and UN ESCAP in arrangement this important forum. This would be a great forum that we can integrate of both environment and development. Asia-Pacific region have made remarkable progress in socio-economic and development in recent years. However, continued economic growth had resulted in unsustainable consumption and production, change in lifestyle, and even greater demand for products and services. This is one of the challenges that we must take together in the region. For Thailand, resource efficiency is defined within the context of sufficient economy philosophy or SEP of the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej. The concept is integrated into the 20-year national strategy and the 12 national economic and social development plan. Environment-friendly growth is one of the most important among other strategies. Let Thailand share with other practice among the nation. Thailand had recently cooperated with the 10 countries under SEP, Sufficient Economy Philosophy for SDG partnership. 15 developing countries from Asia and the Pacific, African and South America have expressed their intention to implement the sustainable community development model based on the application of sufficient economy philosophy. This model could strengthen the agricultural sector food security by increasing the value of agricultural commodities along supply chain and enhancing food security at the household and community levels. It also promotes the sustainability of natural resources and environment by enhancing efficiency, transparent, equitable natural resources and environmental management system. Ladies and gentlemen, strengthening regional cooperation could lead to environmentally friendly growth in the region. Thailand will continue our partnership within the region so that all countries can together transform Asia and the Pacific into resource efficiency region. Thailand stands ready to extend further cooperation with all countries on sharing knowledge and successful practice, science, technology and innovation, research and development in order to decouple natural resources, degradation and environmental impact for economic growth. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Thailand. Distinguished delegates, all governments on my list have spoken. And given that we are behind schedule and that the interpreters will be stopping at 5 p.m., I propose that we move to the next item, 14B, and then, if time allows, to hear remaining statements under 14A. I take it that everyone is okay with that. We will now move to agenda item 14B, consideration of the report of the senior officials of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific. The documents pertinent to this agenda item are, as indicated in the annotated agenda, report of the senior officials of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific, E/ESCAP/MSED 7/4, and the draft Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development for Asia and the Pacific, E/ESCAP/MSED 7L4. The report of the senior officials was adopted yesterday during Agenda Item 11. The report of the senior officials contains one recommendations, which is that the ministerial segment of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific adopts the draft Ministerial Declaration on Environment and Development for Asia and the Pacific. The Ministerial Declaration has been drafted thanks to the endless efforts of our delegations, which have been working with a very constructive approach during the past few weeks. I will now open the discussion for country delegations. Are there any comments regarding the recommendation of the senior officials and the draft ministerial declaration? As I see none, I propose that the ministerial declaration as contained in document E/ESCAP/MSED 7/L4 is transmitted for adoption under Agenda Item 17 tomorrow afternoon, together with the report of the conference. Are there any comments on this proposal? As I see none, it is so decided. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will now open the floor for statements under 14A. Are there any other governments who wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your kind attention. I will now open the floor to intergovernmental bodies. And I give the floor to the Economic Cooperation Organization.
Thank you, Madam Chair, honorable ministers and heads of delegations, dear participants. On behalf of the Secretariat of the Economic Cooperation Organization, ECO, we would like to extend our deep gratitude to ESCAP, UN Environment and the Royal Thai Government for successful organization of this landmark ministerial summit and appreciate the ECO member states for their active participation here. The themes for the third session of UNEA and for today's ministerial dialogue are completely coherent with aspirations of ECO member states to ensure long-term sustainable development of the ECO region. ECO highly appreciates its partnership with ESCAP and UN Environment as key contributors to accomplish common goals at regional level. Dear participants, since the beginning of the 21st century, the global environmental challenges have immensely increased impacts on ECO region encompassing changing climatic conditions and global warming. These challenges, combined with the region-wide transboundary environmental issues as desertification, air and water pollution, dust haze and sandstorms, deforestation, land erosion, biodiversity and ecosystems degradation throughout eco-region are calling for coherent actions for crafting inclusive, sustainable and resilient environmental agenda. Realizing this grim situation, ECO is considering a paradigm shift focusing on synergy impacts to identify common applicable approaches and mobilizing resources for adaptation and mitigation related actions. The need for the eco-region to work towards development of environmentally sound mechanisms and innovative solutions for prevailing common challenges stands as a primary task. This has led ECHO to explore engagement in global processes in the context of UNFCCC, UNEP, UNCCD, IPCC, UNFF, and UNCBD. Given this impetus, we are confident that ECHO would play an important role in advancement of global and regional coherence for environmental resiliency and would facilitate the UN agencies in a pragmatic implementation process of their global climate change agenda in the ECHO region, including the UN Sustainable Development Agenda 2030, with high focus on relevant SDGs. ECHO is committed to promote a balanced and effective integration of all dimensions of sustainable development in its member states through regional cooperation. In recent years, ECHO's environment profile has been increasing steadily. The last ECHO ministerial meeting on environment designated the environment and impacts of climate change as a cross-sectoral priority of the organization, to be seriously considered by all ECHO activities and events. ECHO projects in the field of environment are progressing well. ECHO has been implementing as well as initiated a number of projects with environmental profile, notably on combatant desertification with a special emphasis on dust haze and sandstorms in the ECHO region, development and harmonization of environmental standards, implementation of the framework plan of action on environment cooperation and global warming for ECHO member states.
Excuse me, ECHO, please be reminded of the time.
Biodiversity in ECHO region. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I would like to assure that as an intergovernmental institution, ECHO stands ready for any dialogue with regional and global partners for the sustainable development of the region. Thank you.
Thank you, ECHO. Are there any other representatives from intergovernmental bodies who wish to speak before I open the floor to UN bodies and specialized agencies? I see none. I will now open the floor to UN bodies and specialized agencies, and I give the floor to International Labour Organization.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The ministerial panel this morning has been truly inspirational. Among the important points stressed by countries and stakeholders is the need for policy coherence across different policy portfolios, as well as the policy alignment of UN agencies working to accelerate actions for the SDGs. My brief comments refer to this point exactly. The draft ministerial declaration covers policy coherence and alignment of policy portfolios in paragraph 15, that, as you know, notes that environmental issues should be addressed together with economic and social issues in an integrated and balanced manner, by promoting and addressing interlinkages among the Sustainable Development Goals. Let me stress how the interlinkages can help to accelerate the SDGs. For example, an important point that we would like to emphasize is that the world of work can contribute to environmental and development goals if we make a just transition to environmental sustainability. Because decent work and environmental sustainability are inseparable. Well, we are all familiar with the once general view that we had to choose either to promote jobs and economic growth or to protect the planet, and that these options were in certain tension, almost incompatible. But that tension, as you know, is no longer with us, or should no longer be part of our deliberations, as we can't do one without the other. At least, if we want to give our future a chance, we must recognize the opportunities lying ahead as we address a jobs-rich, resource-efficient economy. The world of work can contribute to the Asia-Pacific countries' efforts because creating and maintaining decent jobs and fostering environmental sustainability are inseparable. As the ILO, Madam Chair and delegates, is about to turn 100 in 2019, the governing body adopted in November 2015 the guidelines for a just transition towards environmentally sustainable economies to provide policy guidance and practical solutions for the job opportunities, sustainable management of natural resources, and resource productivity are creating. Let me finish by acknowledging here the leadership of the government of Fiji and the leaders of the Pacific Island states during the pre-COP23 meeting in Suva in July 2017, where the issues of interlinkages between decent work and addressing climate change were discussed. This conversation should continue all the way to COP23 in Bonn, and after that in Nairobi as well, so that the transformative actions we want to see maximize job creation opportunities. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, ILO. Are there any other UN bodies and specialist agencies who wish to speak? I see WHO. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As was mentioned by many participants, at least 24% of global burden of disease is due to environmental risk factors. Unfortunately, this is even higher in Asia and Pacific region due to the rapid industrialization and urbanization. And also, positive impacts of efficient and sustainable management of natural resources include improved health and well-being of the population, particularly the most vulnerable groups in the region. We all know air pollution causes lung and heart diseases and related deaths. Water contamination causes waterborne diseases, and chemical hazard cause poisoning, as was exemplified by the Minamata disaster in history. As was mentioned by many participants, most environmental pollutants are transboundary, and environmental pollutants do not respect national borders. That is why this ministerial declaration is very important for all countries in the region. And for these reasons, WHO has been working with the UNEP as a secretariat for Asia Pacific Regional Forum on health and environment in the past 10 years, advocating for health and environment in the region. WHO is also supporting small island developing states and least developing countries in coping with the impacts of climate change on health and health systems. And also we consider the ministerial declaration is a very significant public health agreement in the region. Therefore, WHO will work closely with the UNEP, ESCAP, and other UN agencies, as well as all member states, to implement the ministerial declaration and maximize the health co-benefits of efficient and sustainable management of natural resources. Thank you.
Thank you very much, WHO. I will now open the floor to major groups and other stakeholders in the order provided by the Secretariat. I give the floor now to Asia Indigenous Peoples Pact.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and ladies and gentlemen. Here I am speaking on behalf of Indigenous Peoples Major Group. Resource efficiency has unmistakable centrality in recent global policy frameworks, including the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-30, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda of the Third International Conference on Financing for Development, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Paris Agreement, and the new Urban Agenda. Now we have global frameworks. The next important task is to translate and operationalize these frameworks at national and local level. The nationalization and integration of the sustainability framework should have clear policy tools that recognize and respect the economic, social, cultural beliefs of indigenous peoples. We have the first charge in the principle of leave no one behind. The resource efficiency principles must recognize the contribution of these communities for their ability to live within the ecological limits and ensure that they are compliant of the basic principles of non-discrimination, equality, and equity, full full and effective participation, self-determination, and identity. We have some important recommendations to the Asia Pacific countries. Indigenous peoples are known for their contribution to natural conservation and resource efficiency. Therefore, formulate, develop, and build upon integrated national development policy and plans that recognize, respect, and promote development of indigenous peoples based on their needs, skills, resources, and aspirations, with full participation of the indigenous peoples themselves. For example, in Malaysia, indigenous peoples practice a traditional system known as Tagal to manage and promote sustainable use of rivers, forests, and watersheds. In Indonesia, indigenous peoples have customary rules known as Sasi law to manage natural resources, including seas and rivers. All the development projects, and especially those in the indigenous peoples' territories, should strictly undertake environmental impact assessment, EIA, and social impact assessment, SIA, as indigenous peoples are impacted differently and more disproportionately from those projects. Respect, protect, and promote our right to free, for, and informed consent in all development projects to sustain the long-term protection of our homes, lands, and forests. The policy perspective should incentivize use of more resource-efficient agriculture practices and facilitating knowledge exchange of the best. A number of researchers have proved that shifting cultivation that the fallow period of 6 to 10 years is sustainable and contributes to the food security, livelihood, biodiversity conservation, and well-being of indigenous peoples. We encourage governments representatives to acknowledge, respect, and recognize shifting cultivation as sustainable agriculture practice wherever it is in practice. Manufacturing sector's policies should be designed to maintain resource efficiency and ensure the minimum impact on the environment. Public-private partnerships, PPP, which are supposed to mobilize resources for achieving Agenda 2030, have had a very adverse impact on sustainability in general and indigenous communities in particular. We demand that PPPs should be made more transparent, accountable to the communities, and should be undertaken only on the condition of the best interest to the peoples and planet. The policy perspectives towards resource efficiency must encourage to the 4Rs approach, reduce, refuse, reuse, and recycle. It should also promote to the resource efficiency, financing frameworks, and microeconomic policy framework that promote resource efficiency. Last but not least, partnership with indigenous peoples and local communities is vital to achieve the resource efficient vision of the region. Indigenous peoples are ready for partnership. Let's work together and reach together. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Asia Indigenous Peoples Pact. I now give the floor to Clean Air Asia. Okay, I think we'll move on now. We'll give the floor now to Karnali Integrated Development Center, Nepal.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We are very glad for this opportunity to speak here today. I am Anish Shrestha, and I am also representing Asia Young Indigenous Peoples Network, AYIPN, an organization of indigenous youth organization and activists in the Asia, and as the constituency member of the Asia Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism, APRCEM. We would like to draw to your attention to the young people who are the key driving force in our changing Asia Pacific region and who aspire for a prosperous and sustainable societies. The population of young people is increasing in the region, who are the future harbingers and the agents for the harmonization of economic, social, and environmental imperatives of the day. But these potentials are hindered by the extreme poverty, discrimination, lack of opportunity, information, education, and capacity. Increased investment in their education and harnessing these young people's energy and ideas can enable them to realize their full potential, innovation, and their contribution to resource-efficient and pollution-free Asia and the Pacific. There is where young people have a critical role to play. If our region is to have succeed in the achieving the SDGs, leaving no one behind, government must seek an active and substantive engagement of young women and men from diverse backgrounds, including indigenous and marginalized youth in national and sub-national planning, implementation, and monitoring. Young peoples also continue to be a challenge by poverty, poor health, disability, and impacts of climate change and pollution from various sources. We are thus deeply concerned to note that the sustainability and the resource efficiency solutions being offered, including green economy, RED+, PPPs, excessively rely on the market-based approaches which are inappropriate, decisive and divisive, and perpetuate destruction of the environment and accessing people's access to the basic essential services. Such program and policies even legalize the different developmental aggregation projects such as large-scale mining, construction of the multi-purpose and hydroelectric dams, massive logging, plantation, and other monoculture agriculture, oil exploration and production, and other transnational and multidimensional investments. These programs are often protected by the military aggregation, resulting to the gross violation to the people's human rights. This market-based approach also evict the indigenous people, local communities, including young peoples from their own lands. Recommendation and actions. I recommend as follows. The states and multinational corporations should recognize their accountability as the major contributors to the degradation of the environment. They should also drop the grid economy and the RED+ as the solution to the global crisis. We urge the ESCAP and the member states to come up with the concrete binding policies and enforcing mechanisms to those who do not meet the goals of achieving the sustainable development consistent to the prosperity of civil society stakeholders. For states, UN agency, and the concerned institution to create a dedicated streams of funding to support the role of the youth in the process of self-determined development and protecting the environment. We insist that developed states fulfill their ODA commitments to the developing and least developed countries, of which most of the underprivileged indigenous and local communities are located. However, the ODA must be given directly to those communities in need, especially the indigenous marginalized communities and youth. We strongly urge the states to stop budget cut and privatization of the educational institution and to increase the budget allocated for education and allocate 6% of their total GDP to education as stated in the Dhaka Declaration. We demand the states and all the economic institutions to include the indigenous knowledge-based approach, including the use of mother tongue, and implement inclusive education system at all levels. Thank you for listening to us, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kanhali Integrated Development Center, Nepal. Distinguished delegates, thank you for your kind attention and to all of those insightful and interesting remarks. Our remarks and recommendations will be reflected by the Secretariat in the draft report of the 7th Ministerial Conference on Environment and Development in Asia and the Pacific, E/ESCAP/MSED 7L3, that will be submitted tomorrow for our adoption together with a ministerial declaration. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let us now move to our last agenda item for the day, 14C, Other Matters. I am asking the distinguished delegates if any other matters need to be discussed. As I see none, I will close the session and our discussion for today. Distinguished delegates, I wish to thank you again for an excellent session. I also would like to thank our interpreters for staying back over time today because we ran a little late. Thank you again. I also congratulate our distinguished delegates of Pakistan and India for finishing their statements well before time, and others who were very close, and thus mastering the act of saying so much with so few words. I thank you. Before we wrap up, I would like to give the floor to our MC.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your contributions today. Kindly remain seated for a moment while UN Environment distributes a document for your information. Kindly note that an evaluation questionnaire has also been distributed to the desk of each delegation to seek your views on the relevance, effectiveness, and quality of the Ministerial Summit. We encourage each delegation to please take a few minutes to fill in this questionnaire to help us improve future sessions. We recommend completing the questionnaire at the end of the Ministerial Summit or prior to your departure. Please drop your completed questionnaires in the box located near the exit door, and thank you for taking the time to provide us with your feedback. Immediately following this segment, we cordially invite you to participate in a dinner reception and the presentation of the Asia Environmental Enforcement Awards 2017. The awards recognize and celebrate excellence in enforcement efforts by public institutions and individuals to fight environmental crime in Asia, and are hosted by UN Environment with the generous support of the Swedish International Development Agency. The theme for this year's awards is Fighting Pollution Crime in Asia, and the event will take place now in the reception hall on the ground floor of the conference center, followed by a dinner reception. We will resume tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp in this conference room too. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you so much. One or the other. Have half tonight, half tomorrow. Thank you so much for your help. I couldn't have done it without you.
I've told you many times that it's also a chemistry between the chairman and the secretary.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.